as a candidate. I remember the president, Uganda Young Democrats by then, and I had now left the position because now that position, we made a law which requires someone to be 30 and below to be contesting for the position of the president, Uganda Young Democrats. So I was 32, I left the position, and he was now shooting for the position of the secretary general of the party. So I nominated successfully, and I went to Mbarara. What was there, I think you also now have a hint of what really happened there. But what I can tell you and the listeners to us at UBC, it wasn't fun enough. It was only funny for those actually who were in the control and doing whatever they were doing, what you saw. But to us, the candidates and those who were really yearning for rule of law, democracy, fundamental human rights, ensuring justice, it wasn't funny. It was really, it was bad on our side and to the undermining the democracy of the Republic of Uganda. Because we think that whatever happens in political parties, it is accepted in the Republic of Uganda, since it is now happening on the soil of the Republic of Uganda. So if it happened, if what happened actually it is nasty, and it is not okay as far as the rule of law and the constitution is concerned, then it undermines our supreme law.
It will go back if Ugandans or Uganda, the institutions, I do believe if you talk about Uganda, you're talking about the institutions. Intervening in party politics, one would say that you are entering into matters of internal democracy of those political parties, and you're trying to influence their internal structures and their own activities. Isn't that crossing the line?
No, it is not about crossing the line. You know, political parties.
Because police was there. This is one of the institutions, and its main whether it was to keep law and order. Yeah, the rest was to be managed by the party.
That's very true, Amon. But political parties fall under the Political Parties and Organizations Act. That's one of the laws governing us as a country. Secondly, political parties are supposed to supervised by the Electoral Commission. That's the full body of the country, and the Electoral Commission is governed by the supreme law of this country.
But I think also there's a jurisdiction and limits where Electoral Commission intervenes and where it does not intervene. Did you think that what we saw in the DP and in the Delegates Conference in Ampaire required some institutions of government to come in and rescue the situation?
Yes. Now, Electoral Commission is not supposed to intervene, but it has to ensure that the laws governing this country and the electoral laws, they are followed in the delegates conference, and actually in every delegates conference. So whatever happens there, now that depicts that it is allowed in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, or it is allowed to happen anyway. Because I can actually try to give you an insight of what really transpired there.
Please.
At the nominations, we were nominated successfully. Everybody was nominated, those actually who submitted the forms. And on returning, we were told that actually that you have returned your forms, but you are not yet nominated. Now, that contradicts with us as the candidates. You have returned your papers and the forms filled very well.
All the requirements.
Yes. Then you leave, they give you the stamp, they say, but you are not yet nominated until the last day.
What does the Constitution say of DP?
Of the Democratic Party? We are supposed actually to be nominated in the delegates conference. You understand?
So were they right to say that by returning the papers, you are not yet nominated until the D-Day?
Then they would have not actually collected those papers in time. They would have waited for the delegates conference to happen. Then we get nominated from there.
How about verification?
That is it. Now, there is actually a lacuna in our constitution.
Which needs
The other issue which was somehow unjust, it was actually nominating someone, then you remove him from the list of the candidates without telling that person why you're removing him. So they were just actually rumors. This one doesn't qualify. This one doesn't qualify. So when they were reading the lists, more so for the president, they were not reading the list of some candidates and not giving the reasons why they were removing them. You know, even the Electoral Commission here, you nominate someone, and if you fail to nominate someone, you give a reason. If you give that reason, if someone sees that actually there was some lacuna and some unjust in disqualifying him, that one seeks for the law interpretation, the courts of law. And is that time, you understand? So it was actually funny, and after still we went to the elections, we spent like around 3 days without actually now business in the delegates conference in Barra. First day, second day, nothing. Third day, then the third day at night, that's when they come. We started now the business with the national chairman.
At night?
Yeah, at night. That's when we started carrying out the procedures and so on and so forth. But to the listeners who are listening, the most important thing came to the time when we are now electing the leaders. When we were electing the leaders...
That was around the midnight.
Yes, it was around midnight. So we thought that we are going to be told that now we have such and such a candidate. We have 26 voters, or we have 500 voters, and these are the ballots present. But we went into elections when we don't know how many are the voters. We went into elections when we don't know how many ballot papers were present, more so for different positions. We said, okay, maybe there is a problem that we don't have any law in the party which talks about, which gives actually the electoral guidance and so on. So when we started voting, there were a lot of ballot stuffing and so on and so forth. When we were starting to vote, one person, the presiding officer, was tearing ballot papers. Actually, there were 18 ballot papers for every individual. So they tear for you on president, secretary general, national chairman, the other person, until the 18th ballot paper. Now, there was a lot of confusions that even that someone can tear 3-5 ballot papers for one position. Then you are given and you are taken, you take it to the ballot box and so on. We saw that and we said, okay, maybe the law doesn't guide us in that. We left it as it was. When the problem came up to now, that's why you Amon, you also now you're recalling what happened in the delegates conference. It was that after elections, we were told that now it is time for counting votes. So let everybody now give us the agents. We submitted the names of the agents. Then after some time, I think around 30 minutes, they came and said, now we have some insecurity here. The owner of the tent wants it, he wants to take it away because we have already taken some time and we want to shift now the ballot boxes to the hotel inside. We said, no, that can't happen. If we have a date with the service provider of the tent, let the service provider tell us what he is demanding. We can collect this money among us here and we give him that money. But we want to count from this tent. That one, they left it. Then they think they went back and they brainstormed. They briefed the security. They briefed the bank which they had hired. After 40 minutes, they came back. On coming back, they came just guarding the ballot boxes, guarding the people so that they cannot access the ballot boxes. Then they just carried them away forcefully to the hotel room. In the hotel room, they were not allowing the candidates there. They were not allowing the agents there. Only security and those who organizing the elections in that line. Some of us actually just struggled to enter there. Were around 5 out of the many candidates. And
on that, I also saw the statements of the Electoral Commission chairperson saying that by that move from the tent to the main hall in the hotel, it was because of the insecurity. He had sense insecurity, and there are people plotting to take away the ballot boxes and to organize the exercise. So they deemed it right to have the ballot boxes taken to an open place, also in the hall.
No, that wasn't
true. If you're
true.
in the same position as the leader and as in the capacity of chairperson of the Electoral Commission, wouldn't you take the same action?
No,
in case you feel there is insecurity or there is a group of people that would love to jeopardize the exercise.
There was no any insecurity, if I can tell you, Amon. But the insecurity was on clearly counting these ballot boxes in the open, and they were well known, knowing that actually the results in the ballot boxes were not favoring them. I can tell you that actually the delegates themselves were guarding the ballot boxes. No one could allow anyone actually to touch any ballot box because everybody was interested to understand what is happening there. Despite the fact that actually the whole night they were ballot staffing, they were still insecure of what was in the ballot boxes. Okay, there was insecurity, as they were claiming. So why now were they not allowing the candidates, their agents, in the hotel room? That one is also an issue there. Was the candidates? Were the candidates also bringing insecurity when they were also wanting actually to understand what were the results there? So once we entered there, they started counting 3 boxes amidst us. One was the box of the UID president. It was Mpunge Michael and Sayuni Helen. Mpunge Michael we counted when he was getting 486 votes. Sayuni Helen got 460 votes. We left that box. Now, that was the box actually which paralyzed everything. Once they saw the results in that box of the youth of the UID president, they stopped everything. They had already counted the women leader, Adong Sarah, had won. They counted the representative for Soga, and the other one of the candidates actually had won. Now this one showed them what was really in the other boxes. No, now they told us, now you people who have already entered here,
presidential candidates. Because these candidates that had already won, they were in some camps, especially for the presidential candidates, right?
Yes. So the one for the UID president, the one that Sayuni Helen was in the camp of the president, Honorable Norbert Mao. So when they counted that actually she has been won, that's when now they stopped counting. They told us, now you people who have come here in the room, go, you extend. They extended us for around some good meters, around 80 meters away from the ballot boxes. Then they told us, now we are going to sort out these ballot boxes. Then we call you and we count at once. So we were asking ourselves, how would you now start touching or sorting the ballot boxes when we are not there? But when you ask any question, that one qualifies you actually to move out of the room. So we left them, but we were watching. They sorted, even if we knew that actually it was not fair. We left them because of the issue of the security, because security was an alert. Anyone who is being told that actually this one should get out, you get out immediately. Yet we were very few people in the room. So they sorted up to around 5 p.m. Then security, now the RDC, the DPC came in, said, you people, we are tired of you. What have you not concluded for the last 3 days you have been here? If you don't sort out this thing right now, we are packing you in the container, we take you back to Kampala. Now,
container.
Yes, that's what he said. He didn't have ministers. Then the head of the one who was managing the elections moved out, came in, moved out on phone. Then he came. Lastly, he came and said, now, Let us try to see. The box of the president had not been sorted yet, because Honorable Dr. Lume was very bitter. He said, you can't sort that box when we are far. Sort it when we are there. So they brought it. They told Steve Sachute, extend those people, let them go further. Now, they were sorting the ballots in the ballot of the presidency, putting in other ballot boxes where there were still some other papers. Now we're asking, what are you people really doing? How do we trust now the other papers which you're mixing with these ballots which you're getting from this box? No one was answering. So we left them. Now they started counting that one. They counted when the president has already won with around 900 votes and something. Dr. Luluma around 300 votes. Then Litia around 56 votes. Then other positions, they said, now what you do, go in the next room, because it was coming to 7, it was around 6:30. They told us, you people, now go to the next room. Other positions, we are going to count from there. Then after counting, we announced the winner. So we moved out. Now going in the room where they were sending us, we saw media was mobilized. Chairs were well arranged. Then after some few minutes, we saw Honorable Norbert Mawa and the group coming, jubilating. I was saying, what is the problem? What is it? They told us they are coming here to
address the press.
Exactly. No, to count the votes for the other positions. After a few minutes, the one who heading the elections came, then started announcing. For the president, this one has got these ones. Norbert Mawa has won. For Secretary General, this one has got these votes. So this one has won. They said, but we have not counted these votes. How come that these votes are the winners are being announced just like that? Now, you find that actually there was a lot of issues in our delegates conference, which really is making the public really not trust Democratic Party once again, based on what happened. So in that line, I think it is high time now for the Electoral Commission. What I've told you that it's high time for the Electoral Commission to come and start directly supervising the political parties. Because once we are in the delegates conference, we are ensuring that we are implementing or we are doing what the law requires us to do. But if what happened in the Mbarara, everybody coincides with it, more so the Electoral Commission, that means that actually it is okay for someone to nominate someone, then you don't, you nominate someone, then you disqualify him without giving him any reason why you have disqualified him. It is also okay, you finish elections, after elections, then you just announce without counting the votes. It also means that actually it is okay to carry out the elections in just a house or in a tent without being allowing actually other people to participate free and fairly as it was in Mbarara. So that's what I can actually try to give you the instance why actually most of the people complain about the delegates conference.
Thank you, Ismail, and for giving us that background of what's transpired there in Mbarara. And we're also getting to the real picture of the internal democracies or the internal processes that do really take place in some political parties, and DP is one of them. NRM is about, and we have seen other political parties lawsuit. But also going back to our topic, the significance of forming political party structures for cohesion at national level. If we still have such, especially in Democratic Party and other political parties, yet we are relying on those parties, especially those that are in opposition, because they provide the alternative government. Much as we blame the NRM for doing A, B, C, and D, we expect the opposition to be doing something that is perfect, because they're trying to show if they're interested with power, this is what they are likely to do. But if we have such taking place in Democratic Party, one of the political parties that is as old as this country's independence, where does this take this country, especially in democratic sphere, but also at the cohesion at the national level? We see about 1,400 delegates that gathered in Bara, and we saw also some presidential candidates not contented by the delegates, and one wonders if the delegates were selected by some candidates and others were not, because some people say my delegates have not been accepted, or they have been denied access. And by the time we say my delegates or my people have been denied, and it is a delegates conference, they cease to be the delegates of the Democrat Party, but they have been personalized. And this may think an outsider may think that every candidate mobilized their own supporters, and it ceases to be a delegates conference. Well, I will come back to that. I am glad that that Albert is here, Msinguze, and is a returning officer from Electoral Commission, and heading one of the big districts in Uganda, that is Wakiso district. Looking at what is taking place in the political party primaries and how they have been conducting the delegates conference, I understand that some parties have not had their delegates conference, but based on what we have just shared from Democratic Party and what you see and what is coming next few weeks, where does this leave us as a country, and where do you come in? Ismail was here and says what happened in Democratic Party's delegates conference in Bara was not really a good picture to show the world, and he expected some institutions of government, especially the Electoral Commission, to have stepped in and rescued the situation. Were you allowed by the Constitution? Where are your limits? What is your jurisdiction? Where do you come in and where do you do not? Tulbert.
Thank you so much, Amon. This morning, and my partner here, the studios, and all the listeners on UBC Radio, good morning. Amon, and all the listeners, as you know, Electoral Commission, we are the referees, and our mandate purely is to deliver a national good to the nation, and that is a free, fair, transparent, and credible election in accordance with the Constitution. Electoral Commission, we value a lot peaceful democratic processes. In organizing our elections, we usually put forward what we call stakeholder engagement, whereby all our activities are based on engaging and moving together with the stakeholders. Why do we do that? To ensure that whatever we are doing, one, we are in line with the Constitution, and two, we are together to avoid collusions, to ensure there is cohesion. Now, on the internal, where do we stop when it comes to activities of political parties? The Political Party and Organizations Act does not allow us to enter their houses, because once we enter there, you're no longer neutral. Once you enter that house,
You remember?
you become a member. So we don't really enter their houses, though as managers of these processes, even when we are outside, we throw in a word or two that is at national level, saying let's have peaceful internal processes. Because you see, what they are doing now, when they are doing their primaries, when they are organizing their houses, they are preparing to come to the league that we are organizing. They are coming to our playground. So if they come with anger, if they come with disagreement, if they come with quarrels, it means even in our playground, that's what is going to play out. So we usually encourage them to follow their constitution, and have a peaceful process. How they manage it purely, and political parties have constitutions. They know how they manage internal rifts. They have tribunals like in NRM is managing what has come from their primaries. DP also had the issues with their elections and they are managing. So for us, we are saying that manage your process peacefully and ensure that you come out with one voice. So that by the time you come to us, because the Electoral Commission, we want one voice from political parties. And that voice is through recommendation of flag bearers. We don't accept more than one flag bearer from a party. So, and that is what works for us. Come the 3rd, come the 8th, come the 11th of September, come the 15th and 16th of October, we are doing nominations. On the 3rd and the 5th, LOC5 and councillors. On the 8th and 10th, that is September, we are doing LOC4, that is the municipality chairpersons and their councillors. Then on the 11th and up to the 24th, we are doing LOC3, that is
the
sub-county level, the division, the town councils. Then on the 15th and the 16th of October, we are doing MPs. So, what do we encourage? That political internal reorganizations should be mindful of this schedule. Whatever you are doing internally, as you organize your teams, be mindful of this schedule. If there are any internal risks that are still existing, let's iron them out, because the time is not on our side. And we also encourage that, you see, it's not a matter of having the flag, Amon, and all the listeners. People need time to prepare themselves. Nominations is not waking up in the morning and you go to the returning officer. A form has requirements. LOC5, we need a certain number of supporters from you who have to be collected from the entire district. For example, we have been seeing the preparatory stages of presidential elections. Since Monday, the Electoral Commission opened up and said, all those that want to contest, come and pick forms so that you go and start collecting the signatures.
And Ismail has just said that every Tom and Harry they are picking forms, not to return them, but perhaps for their own reasons best known to themselves, especially capturing media attention and other things. Where does that leave the Electoral Commission? If we are giving out papers to every Tom and Harry,
it's their right.
It's their right.
It's their right. Every Ugandan 18 years and above, senior 6 and above, citizen of Uganda.
We are not going to be overwhelmed by the numbers if we all senior 6 leavers and above 18 years old Ugandans came through and picked the forms.
That's the law.
Is it the right time we revise that?
Now, exactly. That's the law. Picking is different from returning. So you pick because the law says if you are senior 6 and above, you are 18 years and above, you are a Ugandan citizen. You are allowed to contest for every office in Uganda, so long as you have the qualifications. Now, you pick the forms, then go and ask the Ugandans to support you.
On that note, you need to print more forms then. But going back to our topic, the significance of political party or forming political party structures. How does this inform the Electoral Commission? You said that you're not allowed to enter their houses. You only remain at their gates.
Yes.
Sometimes in sports we call them spectators. You are part of that team. But also borrowing a leaf from the sports, now we are into Chan. But you realize that we are depending on the national teams, I mean the teams that play in the country. Vipers, KCCA, Nyamutiobora, Paraka, and so very many. But the bad teams, I mean those that come from these teams, they're the ones that form the internal team, the main team, the national team.
Yes, yes.
That means that if Vipers give us bad players, we shall have a bad national team. And we thank God that Vipers gave us Alan Okello, Nyamutiobora, Himswe, and the rest, and they have really indeed performed. if you allow then the political parties to manage their own and then send the bad elements at the national level, where does this leave the national democracy, the cohesion at the national level? Apart from just advising them,
we really
put any measure that would counteract this kind of
we really encourage
and mess up.
we encourage respect for the party constitutions as
Which you
players.
approve
No,
as electoral commission.
no, actually, we don't approve it. What we do is that there is a weighing scale. If every party is, before a party is registered, it must have a party constitution.
Show that.
In the party constitution, then you have all those measures. What are your objectives? Are they national in nature? What do you want to present? Where did the certain number of supporters? Do you have them? Do you have 2/3 of the? So all those ones, because you see, a political party before approval, it moves around the country to collect signatures of its supporters. Have you met that? And those signatures come to us returning officers for verification to confirm that it is true Amon is supporting Grey Party, or he is or his name has just been put there. So all these parameters as electoral commission, we go through the sliding scale to ensure that a party is registered when it has met all the qualifications. Now, the constitution, the making of the constitution, for us we look at the constitution of the party. What are the objectives? What are they aiming at? Are they national in nature? Was it approved by delegates conference in tandem with the Political Party and Organizations Act? So once you have followed that, we register you. Do you have the supporters? Then we are registered. Still, we encourage internal discipline, because the constitution must be having measures on how you are going to have internal discipline, how you are going to respect. For example, if you are going to have a delegates conference, if you are going to have primaries to second people to the national level, how are you going to do that? So we encourage it. Yes, we might be spectators. We will not step foot inside and say, no, don't do this. Now you have elected this one, no, leave that one. No, we may not come in like that.
It is one thing to encourage someone, but it is also one thing for someone to take your encouragement. In a situation where someone doesn't take your advice or your encouragement, what then does the electoral commission do? Because some people say that where peace fails, maybe force must be applied. We are looking at internal democracies or forming of political structures where people are losing their lives. We have seen some primaries in the country. We have seen in some primaries of forming the delegates conference where there is commercialized politics, people giving money broadly light. We have seen, I've talked about people losing their lives. We have seen people being kidnapped. We have seen, does that really require encouragement again, or now we need some law or we need some enforcement this time? And you said that you use a weighing scale. Maybe it has some holes that need to be closed, because if you allowed them to have the constitutions, I think I thought there are parameters that you say you must fulfill A, B, C, D. And in circumstances where we are conducting elections, if a political party or political members or candidates do ABC, they are going to be disqualified. We have not had that. And Ugandans are dying every day. And we are worried in the situation and the next month that we are going through.
Yeah. The commission has come out to clearly to condemn some of these acts. However, like what you're saying, maybe we need and actually we need that law that gives us the hope. Because now we don't have the law to hope. As electoral commission, we can't come in and for example, say party X, we saw all your candidates were bribing voters, were doing that, so we have cancelled you. Unless you are to us. When you are in electoral commission, starting the 3rd, if you are a candidate, we have the mandate to disqualify you.
Does that mean that you are given a gun that does not shoot without bullets?
No, the Electoral Commission Act gives us the powers to act.
Why have you not acted on those kind of political parties that?
You see, the electoral commission, we only get into action once we have the candidates after nominations and all other processes.
Not before.
Not before. Like now, we have no candidates. We are not policing anybody because no one is legally before us. So, but the Political Parties and Organizations Act, for it, holds the political parties to respect the law. Now, even the party constitutions have sections that condemn bribery, that condemn violence. So, we would encourage the parties to respect their constitutions and put into action these internal mechanisms on how they hold candidates who have gone against the party constitution. Now, as electoral commission, we are not just barking dogs. Come the third, once we have started, we have these people before us. They can tell you, if you are violent during campaigns, the electoral commission has the powers to disqualify you. If there is evidence you are bribing voters, we disqualify you. If you use the inciting language, we disqualify you. Those powers as electoral commission, we have them once you are already within our jurisdiction now. Yes.
Interesting, our dear listeners. This is UBC Ground Zero, and we're broadcasting live on 5 radio stations covering this program and streaming live on YouTube. You just put UBC Ground Zero on YouTube and be part of the conversation. We do value your perspectives and also your views. You can always share them on 0776 511 426. You call on 0776 24 070 242647. That is for messaging, and calls on 0776 511 426. But you can always put those comments on our YouTube channel, and we'll be able to address them. And my guests in the studios will be answering those questions. I'm taking a very short break, and when I return, I'll be picking some of your calls and also reading the messages and what you think needs to be done, especially what is taking place in the political parties in forming their political structures, but how does that translate into the national democracy, national cohesion, or cohesion at the national level? And because what we are picking from these political parties is exactly what we're going to be testing in the general elections that are coming forth in just a few weeks from now, as we're starting official nominations. And next month, that is September, we're going to be having nominations of MPs and other leaders, as Tolbert is saying here in UBC. Ground Zone is coming from the Electoral Commission, and Ismail is coming from Democrat Party, and so very many others are coming through. Taking a very short break, and I'm returning back in just a bit. I pray that you don't go away.
Zero Season 2. Stay tuned. We shall be right back. That was Ground Zero Season 2.
UBC Radio brings to you the Timeline Radio Show, the space for civic and political rights for Ugandans. Tune in.
It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the National Senior System, which is one of those that should govern.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate, and guide for national transformation.
On radio, UBC should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza. Ndowooza Muganda kiyitibwa okuguumaaza, to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kuguumaaza babeereyo baguumaaza, naye naffe they can advise, guide, and people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Every Saturday, UBC Radio broadcasts the Information Hub, your one-stop dial radio show. Join us to learn and know more information about innovations, research, and developments. The Information Hub, knowledge is power, on UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda. This is Ground Zero Season 2. Stay tuned, we shall be right back.
Indeed, this is UBC Ground Zero. Welcome from that very short break. Ampaire Amon Buteega is my name, and I have a privilege and honor to have in the studios of UBC a very special team of guests, inspiring and educating us today on today's edition. Tolbert Msenguzi is the returning officer coming from the Electoral Commission, and that is Wakiswa District. And Kiria Ismail is the member of Democratic Party and then President Emeritus of YD. UYD, or Uganda Young Democrats. 776-511-426. Tell us what you think on the significance of forming political party structures for cohesion at national level. You're live on radios.
Hello?
You're live on radios. UBC.
Yeah, this is Henry Baguma.
Most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for the program.
You're welcome, sir.
And the contribution from the panelists. But now my question is, really, this election has become too commercialized, too violent, and it is dividing families, it is dividing people. So that's my concern. I want to hear your views as experts, the panelists as experts, and the people at the game right now. What do you think about the question of violence, commercialized politics, and the divide and the rule? Are we really in democratic country, or we are now related to the previous state of affairs of the country? That's my concern, because I was expecting 2025 to have a better system, a better structure, a better road race. But now I think we are degenerating. That's my fear and concern. I remain Henry Baguma.
Thank you so very much, sir. 0776-511-426. You can share your perspective or views or any question to be addressed to my guests in the studios of UBC. And you can as well share your comments on 0701242647. That is for messages, but calls on 776-511-426. You live on UBC? UBC? Sorry, call again and shall be able to pick you there. If I can go through some of the messages and what people are thinking today. Thank you, Amon, for the program. Listening in from Bali. My question to Electoral Commission is that until when people are losing their lives, until when some candidates are being kidnapped, and until when that law must be revised, and the Electoral Commission should take part and not just advise but also discipline or dismiss some candidates or even political parties at that level. All right, we encourage you to always put your name and where you're listening in from. As someone says, thank you for the program. Political fragmentation is often linked to the conflict. How can strong party structures serve as a tool for national peace and cohesion? We are still missing a lot in this country, especially when it comes to political party internal democracies. From peace building perspective, we have seen risks emerge when political parties are personality based rather than institutional based. People would say my supporters, Norbert Ma would say my supporters, and everyone has said and has put the members into their names rather than the political parties. And this makes Uganda personalized rather than institutional based. Until when? Okay, the question of until when is still facing and coming through. Someone says I am wondering what the Electoral Commission is there for. If they are not they are the ones that approve their constitutions, and they have a right to revoke, and those political parties that are involved in those activities. How do you expect a candidate that has gone through violence and buying votes to come and be nominated at the Electoral Commission? These concerns that come from political parties should be heard not by just the party tribunals as we see in the NRM, but also the Electoral Commission should provide a desk to hear those concerns that come through from the political parties, because these are their candidates. They don't remain for political parties. I am Jimmy Kaga, listening in from Entebbe. Okay, what we are seeing in political parties is a shame, is a total shame, and if I was electoral commission, I would postpone these elections to 1 year until these political parties organize themselves. How do you expect a burning house to provide people who would be rescuing others who are facing the same? They expected something different from the alternative government. This is for political parties, but what we are seeing there is not better than what we are seeing in NRM. They are all the same. I am Christopher. I am listening in from hope it is Movende. I'm saying Miende. I'm Christopher. Thank you for the program. My concern is, okay, you can write your message again, Christopher. I think I'm not picking some words. This is an English program. Okay, thank you so much for the program. The Electoral Commission hurriedly put the dates for nominations when the political parties had not organized themselves, as if they are caught off guard. I'm wondering if there is an excuse they would give for that. And I'm wondering what we are producing, if we are picking rotten eggs and they want to fly them for a meal. We encourage respectful submissions here on UBC Ground Zero. So very many people pointing out to internal democracies as not being transparent, but also in one way or the other, pinning Electoral Commission that you must really provide a desk to hear some of these concerns, because for those who are not contented in the political parties' tribunals, where do they run to? And if we keep on welcoming the bad elements that have been sent from the political parties, how organized will be the Electoral Commission? And someone also has just said that what we are seeing is just a copy and paste of what we're coming for in the general elections. Expect violence, expect commercialized or buying of voters, and so very many others. And political parties have proved to that it is possible. And one wonders how Electoral Commission is ready to counteract these challenges. Ismail, if you have, before I come to Tulbat, any concerns that you would have to address from our listeners, and also I can get a call. You're live on radio?
Yes, Amon. Thank you so much. Good morning today.
A very good morning to you.
Yes, Juma calling from Buteega.
Okay.
To me, the way I look at the Electoral Commission of Uganda, at the moment he has become vulnerable. Then maybe with the constitution, this constitution, they should blend it a bit. There should be at least a limit of candidates or aspirants should be at least if much 10 below. There is this issue of that qualified by age, by academic. You can stand for and you start your campaign. This is not taking Uganda anywhere. Because now you cannot know the agenda of these people. What do they want? What did the late President Obote did not touch? This current aspirant can touch and change the development of this country. What did the late Idi Amin did not touch? But now this aspirant is going to touch that they change the development of the country. Now maybe for 40 years what did Museveni or what has been not doing, this person is going to do. Their agenda is not yet properly addressed. The papers the Electoral Commission is issuing out, there are also money, taxpayers' money. Those printed the papers. Accountability is needed. Though someone has gone to pick and will not come back with the other 20 million, they are now doing commercialization. Let us try to set back and we see what went wrong. Then finally, I call upon the forces, the state should not blend army to be partisans. That the other color, we should block not to perform their duty. But the other color is free to move anywhere, anytime, anywhere, what they want to do. That's why you see those people, they are mushrooming at the Electoral Commission office. Neutral ground, equal services to everyone. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Simon Kawagambe says that thank you for the program. I am really following, but I think it is high time we go back to individual merit because the political parties have failed to produce good fruits that we expected after 20 years since 2005 when we embarked on political parties. That is Kawagambe, and saying that it is high time we leave political parties. Okay. Okay, I'll read for Ben later on. Ismail?
Yes.
That it is high time we go back to individual merit, and if you have other concerns that you would have to address.
Yes, I think I can partly be or side with that view of point, whereby people are saying that actually it is high time actually to go to the individual merit than the political parties. Because what we have tried to present as political parties is really, it is wanting and it has a lot of questions. In my first submission, I didn't actually first give you the insight regarding today's topic. But I want to tell the listeners today in the UBC radio that political parties mean, or you can take political parties like how you see the religions. We can have Catholics, the Muslims, the Protestants, the Seventh-day Adventists. Now, in that line, that means that actually, when you see Toban, there is what you expect him as a subscriber of Catholicism. If you see Ismail, there is what you expect out of him as a subscriber of Islam. So it doesn't change me, even if I go to Italy, where Catholic comes from, or where the revolution of Catholic started from. When you see Toban, even if he goes to Saudi Arabia, he's going to remain Toban, the Catholic or the Protestant. Now, that now comes to the political parties. Political parties represents, it is a family of views and ideology. That's why we have a very big difference with political parties in Western, the West, in Europe. Because for them, whenever you see actually United States of America saying that actually we are tired of a Republican president, we now want a Democratic president. There is what they are wanting. There is what they are lacking, or they want actually to practice in their leadership. Because the Republican don't accept every human right. That's why when you see Republicans, there are no homosexuals, there are no abortions, there's a lot of some wars around America and so on. When you bring the Democrats, there is a lot of democrats. I mean, there is a lot of human rights, entertaining a lot of human rights. And there is a lot of diplomacy outside America and so on. Now, when you come to the political parties, that's what it means. The problem we have in Uganda is that Ugandans were left to go into multi-party dispensation when we have not fully understood what a political party understands and or stands for. For us, we associate political parties basing on colors. We associate political parties basing on friends. We associate political parties basing on the waves. That's why you see many leaders actually go to political parties. Then afterwards they realize, there is a problem in this political party. Now, in that regard, that means that actually whatever we do in our political parties, it is what we are supposed to do when we get actually the power of this country. Because that represents our internal leadership and it represents our national leadership. So once we are given leadership, authority as Democratic Party, what you see us doing or exercising in our internal politics, it is what you expect us doing in our national leadership. After Mbarara incidents or the Legacy Conference, I started getting minimal in criticizing President Museveni. I started getting minimal in criticizing Ugandan Electoral Commission because there's a lot they do in implementing or in exhibiting transparency that what we can't do or what we have not done as the political parties in opposition. And that's why you get actually such statements saying that actually right now we are now going to go into individual merit than political parties. Because what Ugandans are expecting us out of us as political leaders in political parties, it is not what we are giving them. So should the Ugandans expect that actually when now they bring in a political party like the Democratic Party, then we go to elections, we are just going to announce elections? Because that's what we are telling Ugandans in that line. Now back to Mr. Musingu Zitoban. I just want actually to give him an information that Electoral Commission is supposed to supervise political parties. The supervision says you're supposed to supervise political parties to ensure that they are moving hand in hand with their constitutions. Because every political party has a copy, their copy at the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has our copies of the constitution. Electoral Commission has to supervise the political parties that will be adhering with the Political Parties and Organizations Act. Electoral Commission is supervising political parties that we are adhering to the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Because whatever we are doing it in confines with the law. And the law means our party constitution, the Political Parties and Organizations Act, and the Supreme Law of the Republic of Uganda. So if we do anything which is contrary to the law of the Republic of Uganda, then that means that actually we are becoming wrong. Supervising does not necessarily mean that actually you're coming into the field. When you come into the field, you are going to be part of us. Mr. Amon, we have been having several national elections in Uganda. And we have been having actually observers. But they come to observe what is happening. Really, are we really adhering with the international law? Are we adhering with the International Declaration of Human Rights? Are we really adhering with some of the charters, the UN charters, African Union charters, and so on, as far as constitution is concerned and rule of law is concerned? But you find that actually Electoral Commission just folds their hands when we are violating the law. So if you are saying that actually the law doesn't allow you to come, the law is giving you a leeway to come and supervise. Supervising, you're not coming basically actually to say, no, you're doing this. This is bad. No, you're coming to supervise to see that in case there is a complaint, at least for you, you're there to say, yes, there was this, we saw this. But in the field there, you're not going to act anything. You're just going to supervise. Then afterwards, you're going to take back the report.
Thank you.
So if there is no any law which is really making you come on ground to supervise us, the political parties, then I think we should advocate for a law so that you can come and see that we can be in position to adhere to the supreme law of the Republic of Uganda.
Thank you, Kiria. Sarah Sayun says that we should stop blaming the political parties and their members, because the Electoral Commission and other organizations are supposed to be educating Ugandans. This is the time for civic and voter education. If we fail on that, then we should not blame of what comes and to be served on our plate, because we are part of their making. Tolbert?
Thank you, Amon, and all the listeners. I'll start with Sarah. Sarah says, what is happening in the political parties
That you are part of its making.
is because of us not doing our work of voter and civic education. Now, this is not true, because as Electoral Commission, one, as encouraging them to adhere to the Political Party and Organizations Act, and to ensure that all they are doing is within the confines, one, of the Constitution of Uganda, two, all the laws relating to the Political and Organizations Act, and then the guidance from Electoral Commission. It is true, Electoral Commission, we are the supervisors of political parties, and our work is to ensure that they respect the law, they respect the provisions of their constitutions, and then also the Political Party and Organizations Act. I was cross-checking here with the Political Party and Organizations Act, particularly Section 5, which says all political parties shall ensure that Section 5.2 make a provision for equal opportunity of qualified persons to participate in elections and election activities within their governing constitution, rules and regulations. Practice internal party democracy and adhering to the provisions of their constitutional guidelines. And that the political party shall promote and uphold transparency during internal party activities. Now, with this, we have gone against the law. And we have stakeholders who are engaged, are involved in the electoral activities. Every election period, we have a number of stakeholders, and each plays a key role. If there is a disobedience of the law, we have the police, we have the courts. The Electoral Commission comes in when it is actually it's provided in the Political Party Organizations Act, Section 10E, that the Commission shall come in and cooperate in investigating any matter under this Act on an allegation of electoral malpractice. So Section 10E gives an aggrieved political party member to petition the Electoral Commission to come in. We don't invite ourselves, Amon and the listeners, when a political party is conducting its internal reorganization, its internal activities, because that will be within the confines of its organ, of its constitution. So much as we are the supervisors, ours, because now, for example, you will come and they say, but our constitution says we shall have our primaries on this day, and it's by lining up. So you can't come and say the electoral commission, but for us, electoral commission we use separate ballot. Why don't you also use separate ballot to avoid this? But they say this is our party constitution. So as supervisors, ours is to ensure that are they in line with their constitution? Is the constitution saying they do internal primaries by voting, by lining up? Yes. Now, if there is any violence, then there is another agency of government which has the mandate to ensure that there is peaceful observance of the law. So we would expect the police to come in and say, yes, you are doing your party primaries, but we are seeing something else. Then it comes in. The courts are there. Even the party themselves have internal mechanisms of handling their issues. For example, they have tribunals. So as the Electoral Commission, ours is to ensure that the party constitutions are adhered to. If anything is beyond that, a party member or a party chairperson has the mandate to petition the Electoral Commission and say, my political party is going against its constitution. So that is when we can come in. But we don't really interfere with the party, with the internal party, because we shall be crossing the line of partisanship. The yardstick of neutrality will be facing some gray areas. How do you determine that you are now neutral? That after A has been, after we have come in and said, no, A is better than B. And then tomorrow we are now saying, all of you come with us. Sure, how shall we maintain that the B we had declared the other side? A will not look at us and say, but you have already taken a decision. So to ensure this yardstick of neutrality, we ensure that we don't mingle into the internal party arrangements. We can only observe and say, please ensure the constitution of that political party is adhered to. If you cross the party constitution, the courts are there that mediate where the law is being aggrieved. I have seen on TV, I think, UPC have an issue with how they got their president, and they are in the court. So that is, for us now, we can't come in and start mediating the two. Court will tell us. For us as the Electoral Commission is to ensure that, one, the law and the Political Party Organizations Act says if you are aggrieved, you can go to court, and they are in the court. So we listen to that. Like what you are saying, you're saying
But
we should
also on that, I am looking and comparing this to trespassing on private property, which is addressed in both civil and criminal law.
Yes.
That you're not supposed to trespass either in my land or wherever. But in a situation where your house or the house of my neighbor is burning and people are dying in, do I still say I am limited by this law and I can't go and rescue people in that very house? Or sometimes we need to step in and save the people of Uganda. I understand your position that you do follow the law, but in a situation where there is loss of life, buying of voters, Henry has just talked about violence. In Romiaga, we saw people fighting, and it is just not Romiaga. In the whole country is going to be on fire next month or a few months to come. If we are still saying those are internal democracies, these are internal democracies, is it not high time that we say no? Electoral Commission should be given the mandate to come in and save the situation.
Yes, but you see, this political party, the house, the political party is saying we are managing within our law. Yes, we have seen there is violence. Yes, we have seen there is a bravery.
But there is fire. I know you are trying not to trespass.
Yes, because I have to be
But
very
there is
clear.
fire in that house.
I have to be very
There is fire in that house.
Yes, there is fire in that house. But the member of the house is saying we are managing the fire.
But he's killing the wife and the children.
We are managing the fire. Neighbor, first hold on, we are managing the fire. So me, as a good neighbor, if I'm seeing that my entering to save the situation would be putting me in danger but there is an entity that can handle that, that has the neutral powers to go everywhere.
You call it the fire brigade.
That is the police. So we call the police and say, you come.
People are fighting
There
here.
are people fighting here, and they are likely to have problems with themselves. Because my entering might actually increase the fire. So I call the police. Then we because
maybe in that case you have fuel.
And because this electoral commissioner work is very delicate. It's very, very delicate. That provision of the law that talks of neutrality. Neutrality. How far do you go to ensure that you are actually neutral?
Okay.
Because if the political parties are saying we are managing our work within our party constitution, when we have a problem, we refer the problems to a party tribunal, which is within our party constitution. So as the electoral commission, us are supposed to be, because eventually everything that is happening will come to us. But it doesn't mean, because section 10E says, if we are petitioned, then we give an ear. It doesn't mean we can't come out and say no.
For those who are complaining that their issues have not been managed by the tribunals, they have not been aware of that maybe clause that there is room for them to contact
if
the
your
electoral
party is
commission.
going against the party constitution.
Okay.
Yes, you have the right.
Information. The information which I want to give Comrade Taban is that neutrality does not necessarily mean that you are supposed to leave everything to go as it is. I've just given him an example that we always have observers here in the national elections. They don't participate, but they observe and they give reports. The other information which I wanted to give him is that after the delegates conference, before the delegates conference, we wrote the electoral commission.
The delegates conference of DP.
Yes. Electoral commission has like around 7 petitions from the Democratic Party. After the delegates conference, electoral commission received 3 petitions from the Democratic Party. Up to now, there is no any pronouncement about our petitions and so on. So what we want now to clarify, you have just talked about saying that actually you need to be somehow, you ensure that the political parties follow the law. How are you going to ensure that when you're not on ground? Secondly, you've also talked about the picking of the nomination forms for everyone. You are supposed to be Ugandans, you're supposed to be 18 years. Now, how do you understand that actually we are all Ugandans who have picked the nomination forms? How do you ensure that we are all 18 years when there is no anything which is now on ground that which is ensured that actually, yes, are you Ugandan? What do you show that you're Ugandan? Are you 18 years? What shows that you're 18 years and so on? So my point is that we need now to come out of the comfort zone as the electoral commission, more so about political parties. Because that one, what happened, for example, in Democratic Party Delegates Conference? What happened in the FDC Delegates Conference? What happened in the NUP Delegates Conference, where everyone actually was kept outside? It means that actually they are normal. It is a normal situation. So if you wait us to go to the courts of law, then for you have already confirmed that actually it is okay. It is normal what has happened in that delegates conference.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. We'll start with the first one, issue of when we're issuing these nominations. No. We consider how do we confirm Ugandan? You see, the National Voters Register is the key identifier of a voter. It's a key identifier of a Ugandan, because before you come to the National Voters Register, you must have gone through the verification process of citizenship, which is done by NERA. So that's how we verify it. When you reach us, we confirm this through the National Voters Register, that you have all these parameters for you to. Then on the issue of the petitions, now you are confirming what I was saying in section 10, that Amon, people are aware that you can petition the Electoral Commission. When they will handle them, I know sure they will handle them. the commission is headed by justice, so they know the timelines. So they will handle these petitions, and you will get justice. Then on the issue of saying we should do come in, because that's what they say. Say the electoral commission come in, and they say no, you political party, what you are doing is very bad because you are supposed to have done this and this. Our supervisory roles, we come in and guide. Surely, even the commission has been on everywhere condemning acts, because violence is not only on political parties; it's against the constitution.
And it's going to be copy and paste.
And the bribery is against the constitution. Intimidation of voters is against the constitution. So all these are criminal acts.
Okay.
Yes. So we do condemn them.
In your view, Tolbert, can weak party structures threaten national stability and electoral credibility?
They do, because you see, it's the internal the foundation, the democratic foundation of the parties that eventually will reflect at the national level. If internally you can't manage yourselves, so when you come to the national level, the same might be exhibited. That's why we are saying manage the internal crisis within the political parties. We are saying the constitution gives people the room to stand either as an independent or on a party ticket, and leaves the power to the voter to determine the leader they want. And national leadership is determined through national elections. National elections are conducted by the National Electoral Commission. So, that's why I usually say, if you feel that there is no redress within the political parties, don't go violent. Don't kill each other. Don't fight. There is room for the people to say whom they want at the national level, where we won't have national elections. So I would encourage all political parties, let's have peace within our parties. Let's conduct the internal primaries, because it is like in high school when we are having inter-class competitions to select a team that will represent us at the national level for sports. So if we break each other within the inter-class competitions, then which team are we going to put at the national level?
Interesting. Now, speaking of that, then, we have had some political parties that have just been formed, established, if I may call it, just in a few months or a few weeks when we are going into the general polls. And one wonders if they are going to be having the requirements for forming the political structures, or it is not part of the requirement that is asked of them by the Electoral Commission.
For a political party to be registered before they can get the certificate, it means they have fulfilled all the requirements for registration. And what basically the key are that, one, you have a constitution, two, that you have support from 2/3 of all the districts in Uganda. So you get these supporters before, and we verify them before you can have your certificate of registration at your political party. Now, after that, how you sell yourself to the people to be elected is the work of the party. How you form structures. Electoral Commission, once you have registered with us and you have fulfilled these conditions, the Electoral Commission writes a letter introducing you to the different districts. That the Amon of the Grey Party is a duly registered political party and is coming to the district to look for supporters for purposes of contesting at the national level. So it is up to you to go through to the supporters and get those signatures before being nominated to contest.
We are talking about, I think the last time I checked was in 2023, 2 years ago, if I may recall, we had about 26 or above political parties. I'm wondering how many now we have. But also we have seen, when we talk about political parties, those that are active, they may not go even beyond 6 or 5. And you are the ones that, in your introduction, you said that you're the prefect of political parties. How do you keep the inactive political parties still being formed and they're still considered political parties, even when they are not anywhere surfacing, anywhere, not participating, not doing anything? Is it not right time that sometime we think of disqualifying some? And also, we're on top of those which are inactive, we're even registering more, which are of the same.
Yes. How do you determine that a political party is inactive? Because
It
you
comes
see,
on the ground, it has members from the local councils up to the national level, president, or even members of parliament. But there are those that even don't have an LC1 chairperson. And we are still considering them as political parties.
not having any elected leader does not mean you're inactive. It does not mean determining whether the political party is active or not is not a valid view that having elected leaders. Some parties for we call them community causes. Ecological party, it might be advocating for say maintenance of the environment. Its supporters, its views are after that. So if it can have its voices,
How then shall we differentiate political parties and civic?
because a political party has a political agenda and it has its supporters. And it participates in election, but you're not elected.
But they cease to be political parties. They now become civil organizations.
You see, you might be participating. For example, in Parliament now, we have a party like JEMA.
With one representative.
It has its one member of Parliament. If you check, and for this, put a disclaimer that it might have other local councils.
Of course.
But it's a political party. We have Conservative Party. It's there. It participates in elections. But it never goes through to get leaders. I mean, in these councils and the rest. But it is their political party. So not having members of parliament, respect chairpersons and councillors does not make it inactive. And because it is the will of the people. They select what they feel is best for them.
I'll come back to you, especially in some political parties that are operating without a constitution. There have been concerns that one of the political parties have held their constitution for some time, and up to now people are saying that how can you let a political party function without that campus which is supposed to guide and direct their operations. I come to you, Ismail. With the political parties, with how they are operating in the country, we are talking about others not really meeting the people's demands and what we expected from the political parties. Before judging ABCD and who has not done their part, we are registering more political parties. Do you see this country taking a better direction in terms of democracy by having so many players in the same congested pitch, football pitch in this case? Many players who are doing a lot of nothing, if I may call it.
To me, I think the role of political parties in the political arena is phasing away, because initially the political parties are always working to get power. That is actually the core goal for every political party. But right now, we have now descended to making, actually they are in form of business. I can actually tell you, Amon, that we, at the moment, we have no serious political party in the opposition, which is really saying that actually it is coming to remove President Museveni. All those political parties actually which have been formed this year, none of them has an agenda of removing President Museveni. But they are all created to fight the other political party. They are all created to fundraise for funds. They are all created to fulfill personal interests of the founders and so on. I think there is a lot. Needed to regulate the performance of these political parties. At one time, I think last year, I checked the number of political parties we have in Uganda, and they were around 28. And one of the political parties there, which took my eye, was the UPM. That political party, which was registered by the sitting president. So I don't know whether it is the other UPM of 1980 or it is a new UPM. Now, what I want to tell Mr. Taban here is that, yes, it is not true that actually the activeness is only based on the political representation in local government or parliament or what. But at least we try now to understand that now, if you have formed a political party, what are some of your activities from, for example, from 2021 to 2025? We first of all look at your constitution. When do you change leadership? When did you last change leadership? When did you last have an activity? So when we come to the delegates conference, for example, the one we had in Imbarara's Democratic Party, we register or take the returns to the Electoral Commission. That shows the activeness of the Democratic Party. There have been change of leadership, there's these leaders, and so on. Now, that's where you can say now the Democratic Party is active. But we have political parties which have existed for the last 15 years when they have not carried out any change of leadership. When we don't even trace their activities and so on. There is no any leader who has come to any media house to talk about that political party. And they are still in existence. So I think we should have now a yardstick, which is a relevant political party, which political party is still relevant, which political party is still active, basing on their activity, their constitution. Their constitution says they have to change leadership after 2 years or 3 years. They have not changed. The political party, the constitution says they need now to come to these radio stations to make awareness about their political parties. And there is nothing, there is not anything tracing. The constitution says they need actually to have grassroots structures. Can they show their grassroots structures in any of the districts? But they are not there. So there is need to start now following up these actions. And we should have a timeline that any political party which has not brought their returns to the Electoral Commission for the last 7 years, then that political party ceases to exist. It doesn't exist. But the Electoral Commission continues to keep these small political party briefcase political parties. And also
funding them.
Even funding them through an organization which I'm forgetting, the Electoral Commission. It is called what?
Is it iPod?
It is National Consultative Forum.
Yes.
They are facilitated. They organize a conference and they call all of them. But calling them on what basis? What are they doing? What are they still practicing in their mandate as the political parties? So there is need actually to set a yardstick for every political party to be considered an active political party in Uganda. Otherwise, if we leave it like that, then we are creating job opportunities to the founders. That now we have formed a political party. We are just now going now to start now vending it. Who wants to form a political party? We have one here, so you can buy it. But when it has been inactive for the last 10 years, Thank you.
Interesting. Is it right then to say, Tolbert, that the Electoral Commission has a hand, or it is right to say that you have also made these political parties inactive because you are there also to check them? But if they are not very much active as the society expects of them, and at the end of the day they are being facilitated by the same Electoral Commission, which they have in one way or the other provided accountability in terms, not accountability for the money, but accountability in terms of serving the people of Uganda. And one would say that you have a hand in this.
We have, as Electoral Commission, and supervisors of political parties. One, before you can determine that some political party is inactive and hence due for degazetting, is to look at the report. Does it fail the annual returns as a political party? Is it respecting, is it operationalizing its party constitution? Because honestly, a party may not be seen in the media, may not be seen in, during campaigns, but it is operationalizing its constitution. It's failing its returns. So, true, calling upon, making a clarion call on political parties that please respect your constitutions and show why you exist is a good call. For Electoral Commission, yes, we are into this. We always engage these parties and they do their work. Then that we have parties without constitutions, it's not true. The saying has no constitution. It's not true. It has a constitution that it's working on. There is a dispute and the matter is in court, but there is an existing one which they are operating under. So there's no party without constitution. Okay. Now, generally, calling upon political parties to observe their constitutions is a good call. And as Electoral Commission, we encourage that. Because once we see parties operationalizing their constitutions, as Electoral Commission, we know that the end product will be positive to us. Because when they are operationalizing their constitution, they are doing vote education. Because there is no way you can be active without telling the voters how to vote. Without telling the voters that we can only exist when you vote proper and voters. When you cast a valid vote. When you are a registered voter. When you know the time of voting. When you know what happens at declaration. When it comes to nominations, what does it mean to be nominated? As a party, we have to have leaders. We must have candidates going to get nominated. When we give you a nomination form and you're explaining to the voters to get supporters, you're doing vote education. So an active political party base in a country is very good for the for public awareness and for the general good of democracy. Democracy is people knowing that we matter and we exercise our decisions, we exercise on getting who becomes our leader through elections. Yes, so it is very good and it is, we would encourage it as Electoral Commission for political parties to be vibrant and to be on the ground.
Basing on what we are seeing and what we have seen in political parties forming their political party structures and also how they are conducting the primary activities, one would say it is a copy and paste. What are some of the lessons you are picking from what you're seeing taking place in these political parties and you are reading yourselves to handle when it comes to your turn? Because you're saying that you are rating them, you are waiting for them in the corner. What lessons do you pick? And how are you prepared as Electoral Commission?
Our preparation has been standard, that following the electoral laws has no alternative. You have to follow the electoral laws. Issues that we have seen to do with violence, we have always warned all those that are going to participate in the elections that it can lead to a disqualification. Issues of bribery, can lead to a disqualification, and people have been disqualified. Intimidation of voters, using insightful language, abusive language, causing divisions in communities that you're looking for votes, all these can lead to disqualification. And as we enter into the phase of nominations as the Electoral Commission, we are going to issue stern warnings to all those who are coming for nomination, whether independent, whether party flag bearers. Please respect the laws governing campaigns. Failure to do that, you will be disqualified. Yes.
I have seen it disqualified, but when it comes to that, we don't see Electoral Commission fulfilling that statement. But that is
against the campaign guidelines. We shall have you disqualified.
Interesting. What lessons do you pick from what we have observed and what we still continue to observe, and in the delegates conferences, in the primaries conducted? Lessons, but also how should Ugandans prepare themselves when it comes to general polls?
My lesson, which I first picked when Mr. Toban was giving his view regarding to their role as the Electoral Commission to supervise political parties, that actually I think we need to revisit the law. There is a lot of freedom given to political parties to exercise. Now, coming out to say that actually, as the Electoral Commission, we are calling out to political parties to adhere to their constitution. It is not enough, because we expect that each and every political party is adhering to the law. But the fact is, they don't. So what if they don't adhere? So what happens? And for you, you're just there saying, yes, we adhere, we are calling upon, you respect the law, and so on. There is need to come up with a law which is really attaching the Electoral Commission to these political parties when they are carrying out their political activities, more so the National Delegates Conference. Secondly, there is also a law which is needed to help the Electoral Commission supervise very well what is really happening in the political parties. Because that means that actually there is a political party which had its delegates conference in a closed door. Then they put away the media, they put away the concerned people. They said, this is our thing. They came out and said, now we have come out with a party president and the leaders. But we don't know what happened there. So how can the Electoral Commission now really confirm that whatever took place in that closed door meeting was really adhering with the law? So there is need to have a law which actually says that actually once a political party is going to change leadership, there is need for Electoral Commission to go there and supervise. Supervising does not mean they say that actually you're going to be saying that actually no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, but to make sure that they are adhering with the law. Otherwise, if you give us this a lot of freedom, you know, the power which is aligned with the leaders. I've just seen it actually. We have been abusing President Museveni a lot about the law, that when it comes to elections, there is a lot of security. When it comes to elections, they want to appoint the chairman of the Electoral Commission and so on. President Museveni lent us his power, small power like this. The security, the way how the security was commanded under our leadership, you can't imagine. The way how the people were conducting themselves as far as managing the elections, you cannot actually imagine. Actually, right now, it is very hard for me. I can't come here on air and start now criticizing President Museveni because I have no reason now to criticize him. Right now, I can't criticize President Museveni because he's far ahead as far as adhering with the law. President Museveni is far ahead as far as managing the elections. What Justice Byabakama did in 2021, you can't compare them with what we have done in our internal elections. So
parting
I think
shots.
as far as what the questions you have given us is that actually we need actually to come up with a law which helps these electoral commissions. Sometimes I'm seeing actually somehow, they are finding themselves their hands tied. And actually in our incidents where now their supervisor, the Minister of Justice, is also now also a team player in our political parties, makes them actually, puts them in a very bad corner because they don't know what to do. The other one is their supervisor.
Their hands are tied.
In their hands. So there is some law where actually they need actually to come up and say, maybe when the minister or the supervisor is also part of the process, then maybe that minister has first of all to come go there say, yes, there is a lot of what we need actually to come up with so that we can ensure that there is transparency and adhering the rule of law and constitution in the Republic of Uganda. My last comment is actually you just want actually to thank the listeners to UBC Radio. I just realized that actually UBC Radio is one of the radio stations which has actually the biggest listenership countrywide. When I left a political talk show last Saturday, I got calls from Teregu that they have heard me. I got calls from here in Parisa. Is it Butebo? There is a district there. So I really want to thank you a lot. Actually, we give them a lot of a small time actually to give to call to contribute. So I think there is need actually to
thinking about that.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Mr. Toban for the wonderful discussion. But I think what we have discussed here, I think we need to go there and pay attention to them. I remain Kiria Ismail, the president of the Uganda Young Democrats Emeritus. Thank you all.
Tolbert.
Thank you so much, Amon, and the listeners. One is that the nomination program is on. Nominations start on the 13th because this is very key to all our listeners and to political parties. That nominations are starting on the 3rd to the 5th, LOC 5 chairperson and the councillors. 8th to the 10th, municipality chairperson and councillors. 11th to the 24th, LOC 3 chairpersons and councillors. 23rd to 24th, presidential level. Parliamentary nominations will be on the 15th. This is the 3rd and 24th of September. Then parliamentary will be on the 15th and the 16th of October. Nomination requirements and guidelines. All listeners of UBC Radio are with electoral commission offices. You get to our staff from the parish to the sub-county, even to the district staff, regional staff, even on our website. Let us take this opportunity to get to these requirements early. Let us pick nomination forms early. Fill them early. Get the requirements early. Like those who we require supporters from, get those names, bring them to the electoral commission before nomination day, so that we go through them. If there is any mistake, it is corrected before you come for nominations. Because it will be very sad when you come and really you get bounced and you can't be nominated. Get time, come and pick nomination forms or download them from www.ec.or.ug, our website, so that we move on the same page. We are talking of having a campaign free, having a nomination process which is okay. It starts now. And the violence we are talking about will come through if a person comes to get nominated and cannot be nominated. Those supporters down there will not be happy with the process. And it will be a problem with you, the candidate, because the materials are out, everything is out. Let's come to the Electoral Commission and get prepared for the nominations. I want to thank you so much and the management of UBC Radio for this opportunity to have us share with the community what is happening in the Electoral Commission. And I call upon political parties that let's follow our party constitutions as we also follow the national constitution in preparing for this political season that we are in. Thank you so much.
Interesting. That brings us to the end of our discussion here in UBC Ground Zero. Actually, this program is always on 5 radio stations UBC Butebo, UBC Western Nile, FM in Arua, UBC Radio in Kampala, Magic 100 FM in Kampala, and Voice of Bundubujo and Oilers stream live. In case you want to leave your radio behind, we can always be part of you on your phone or anything, or your TV. On YouTube, you just put UBC Ground Zero and you'll be part of the conversation. The repeat of this program is always there on Sunday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on UBC Radio, that is 98.0 FM, and also on Voice of Bundubujo on Monday, same time. I want to thank you very much, our distinguished guests, and to you, our dear listeners, for being part of today's discussion. We have explored indeed the significance of forming strong political party structures, not just as tools of winning elections, but also vital institutions for promoting national cohesion. And we look at peace and also inclusion, democracy, and everyone has a role to play. You as a member, you as a Ugandan, you as a political party leader, and everyone, you have a role to play when it comes to having strong and accountable structures. Political parties risk becoming sources of division rather than unity. And how I wish in the general polls we come together as the people of Uganda, and with transparency, civic education, and internal democracy, and we do make sure that we cooperate, that we can serve and serve this country very well. I want to thank you, Tolbert Msinguzi, returning officer from Wakiso Electoral Commission, and also Kiria Ismail, UID President Emeritus, for making time to come through and educate the people of Uganda on our topic today, the significance of forming political party structures for cohesion at the national level on UPC Ground Zero. To me and to you, our dear listener, it is a very good weekend. We pray for Monday for Uganda Queens to win South Africa as we qualify for the semi-finals. From me and the team, my producers, it's a nice day ahead and nice weekend. For God and my country, Ampaire, Amon, Buteega, allow me now to sign out.
That was Ground Zero Season 2, a production of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, inspiring Uganda. It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about that. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the casualty senior system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Don't miss UBC Radio Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We host credible and relevant guests to discuss pertinent issues of national importance aimed at addressing people's concerns.
As a country, if we don't fight this vice of corruption seriously and with honest opinion without any bias, things will not be good for us.
UBC Radio Ground Zero, right here on UBC Radio.
UBC, ensure that the information you give out is factual but also objective, balanced, and complies with the legal and policy requirements for the media.
Ground Zero program is always live, loud and clear, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio, Butebo FM, West Nile FM, and Magic 100 FM, and live stream on YouTube. You can also listen to the repeated broadcast of UBC Ground Zero every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda. At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate, and guide for national transformation.
On radio, UBC should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza Muganda kito kugumaza to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babeereyo bagumaza naye naffe they can advise, guide And people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC Radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC Radio Network. UBC Radio is your national preferred choice. We broadcast all over Uganda and beyond. Join us on 98 FM in Kampala, 99.4 FM Lura, and 97.4 FM Arua. Only on UBC Radio. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Literature Review is rooted in the past, resounds in the present, and moves us into the future. The Journey on UBC Radio. From Julius Ochwinyo to Susan Chiguri to Jack Mapanje, join us on The Journey as we take you into the lives of various writers in the world of literature. The Journey on UBC Radio.
Good afternoon, dear listeners. It's on The Journey on UBC Radio with me, Gobi George, paying a special tribute to the demise of former minister, renowned educationist, writer, and editor, Honorable Canon Mary Carol Okrut, whose demise has poured out heartfelt contributions from all over the country. Dr. James Tumusime, the board chairperson of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, and managing director of Fountain Publishers, reflected on his interaction with Carol Okrut, especially in the area of writing and publishing.
We published 5 books of hers, but even before she started publishing, we were friends and we used to discuss a lot about the book industry in this country and how to promote authors and publishers. She was very, very helpful. What we would call a mother hen. She was now promoting the young chicks, people who were coming up. Because she had already done what was required, what was expected. When she started, she was writing simple, small books in the early 90s. Then she formed the organization called FemRights, an association of women writers in Uganda, which also became very successful. And there she was, I think, one of the top executives. And I think at the time of his death, he must have been an advisor to the organization. Activists usually who are writing mainly political subjects, non-political subjects. But for her, she was mainly in the creative and the social. She was mainly in the social area of writing, as you have seen here. Most of her books are in the social area. Much as he was politically active and conscious, but she was a realist. She was pragmatic, so she knew what was happening in the country, what ought to happen, and what was happening. And I think she was the type who was, you'd have called her an apologist for the government, because she was serving in the government. And when she went into politics, she brought more credibility. She raised the profile of authorship and writing. So even we, the publishers, felt happy when we have published a minister. All our books are well protected, at least as far as we are concerned. And we occasionally paid her royalties whenever we sold books that, like a book like this one, The Castle of the Sacred Cow, was a set book for government schools. So there we were able to sell some books and pay her royalties. Even these ones of children, we are paying her royalty. You have a lot of people who go and pirate it and abuse the copyright. So the authors don't benefit, neither do the publishers. Because our system is still fluid. We don't have strong laws. You've seen we've been struggling with government. Please strengthen the policing of the Copyright Act. So until the Copyright Act is well policed.
Literature review is rooted in the past, resounds in the present, and moves us into the future. The Journey on UBC Radio. From Julius Ochwinyo to Susan Chiburi to Jack Mapanje, join us on the journey as we take you into the lives of various writers in the world of literature. The Journey on UBC Radio.
First of all, is very sad and sad indeed to learn of the traumatizing loss of Honorable Maria, as we fondly referred to her. I came to know her while she was a PPS. I came to know her when she was a member of parliament and minister, and I worked with her in the house here. I was a member of parliament, and one of the ladies, one of the personalities, distinguished writers that Uganda has ever had. She knew the value and the importance of the pain, and we shall miss her. We shall miss her greatly, and we shall have great memories of her writings, the jokes. She was always fond of many people and many things. She would find unique things to get her hooked to yourself. And she was always hooked to me and say, why the double O? Why the double O? And would talk about me and Ofono Pondo. It's a sad loss. And our thoughts and prayers are with the family, the bereaved family, and the people of Uganda over the great loss. She created quite a unique legacy that she was an information minister. She was she even held briefly the fort for Minister of Security. And she was a dedicated politician who left a legacy of no corruption. She was straightforward. I can't trace in my imagination of any trace of any corruption scandals attached to her name. And to that, we pay tribute to her, and even her death, her name will never get out of the good things that she did for Uganda.
I knew her much before I even came to Parliament. Reading about her in the papers, she wrote a lot. She wrote books. I knew her as an educationist. I knew her as a counselor. I also knew her as somebody who really championed the women's cause.
She was such a nice person. A nice person we worked with very well, very helpful, very loving, very supportive. It's a big loss.
Mary was so humorous, so kind, so intelligent. As a minister, she was really out to serve her people. She encouraged most of us. She was a teacher of literature. She liked literature like nothing. But she also says, our English is this way. The English that is supposed to be what is this way. She managed to encourage so many people to adopt to public speaking as a teacher of literature and as a linguist. We'll miss her. She's contributed a lot in the development of Uganda. She served with passion, but as a mother, she managed to mentor so many members of parliament here. She would reach out to personally with a happy smile. We'll miss her and hand her to God. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
I think she was an excellent writer. She would write on any matter, even what is happening in parliament. I used to follow her because of her writings. She knew how to select the heading
the heading was enticing, so that you could not miss to read the articles in the newspapers. So we have lost a very intelligent lady, and her writing skill was way unmatched. Gave me also the confidence to begin writing. But even if I write, I still can't measure up to her standard. Of course, she is one of those ladies that really served in our parliament, in our government, and our influence to the women of this country is enormous. Also, in terms of the willingness to join politics. Politics is one thing that we women did not even want to join in, but her service, continued service, has made us appreciate these spaces. Fellow Ugandans were in a very somber mood, as first of all members of parliament, but also as Ugandans and the women of this country. Honorable Karol was one of my mentors. Before I came to parliament, and even before I ever thought of being a member of parliament, I always looked to her. She inspired me. She was this lady that was very, very articulate whenever she would communicate. Her character, her demeanor, these are the things that I really used to desire and admire from her. So when I came to parliament and I was able to sit with her in the parliament of Uganda, I always made sure that each time she comes in the house, I would reach out to listen to what she's saying, to get guidance from her. We mourn her. We shall miss her. And indeed, the gap that has been created by her loss, it is something that may not easily be closed. I also started writing small, but I learned it from her, the confidence and the choice of words, the choice of title. I never missed to read articles. That's one thing. She motivated me not only to write, but also to join politics. She was also a very, very elegant lady. If you talk about elegance, I'm not there yet, but for her, she was very proud African lady. She was so courageous enough. One time she wrote an article edited Come on, Reagan. Reagan was a PAC chairman then, and there were issues that had been raised. So her confidence to speak anything that is contentious was way unmatched. I did not see any other woman that matched her in terms of that. Very brilliant lady we lost. We miss her. This country miss her. We only pray for God to comfort her people and the people of Shenyi to get comfort in the Lord and the women in this country. That we should live to emulate her. That whatever she did must not be seen to go to waste, but those of us who are still living must be seen to walk in her footsteps to ensure that her legacy lives and that those who come after her later will be able to emulate her in whatever she was able to do. We pray that God will rest her soul in eternal peace.
At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate, and guide for national transformation.
Our own radio, UBC, should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza Muganda kiyitibwa kugumaza, to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babeereyo bagumaza naye naffe they can advise, guide. And people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC Radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Are you a Ugandan earning below 1 million shillings per year? Government of Uganda is strategically putting PDM for you to get you out of poverty. PDM is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for better.
Get to know more about PDM in your parish by tuning in. We bring you experts to explain, clarify, educate, and interact with you on how to benefit from PDM.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda. PDM.
Literature review is rooted in the past, resounds in the present, and moves us into the future. The Journey on UBC Radio. From Julius Ochwinyo to Susan Chiguri to Jack Mapanje, join us on the journey as we take you into the lives of various writers in the world of literature. The Journey on UBC Radio.
An orphanage without registering with the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Because we have found out that several of these so-called orphanages are exploiting the children. The children are living in very, very unhygienic conditions. Some of them don't even have enough food. Some are being sexually abused.
Under the sun, her voice like a beacon, her legacy. Born in Bushani, under December skies, with dreams in her heart and a fire in her eyes. She walked the halls of Guaranyangi's pride. Trinity's light, a career by her side. With a pen in her hand, she began to weave stories of women who dared to believe. From classrooms to chambers of power she came. Her voice like a beacon, her legacy the flame. Her voice still speaks in the wind and the rain, in the laughter of girls who dream without chains. Her footsteps echo on this Ugandan ground. A queen of the pain, her soul still resounds, though the curtain has fallen. Mary Karuro will speak your name. From press rooms of power to parliament's call, she stood for the truth, she stood for us all. Guiding the nation with wisdom and grace, fearless in spirit in every space. She planted the seeds of Favorite's dream, lifting young voices like rivers and streams through invisible weaving to a woman's voice. She gave us the courage, she gave us the choice. Her voice still speaks in the wind and the rain, in the laughter
It's the journey on UBC Radio with me, Gobi George, paying tribute to the late Canon Mary Carol Okrut. The late Honorable Canon Mary Carol Okrut was born on 12th July 1954 in Butebo Central Division in Bushenyi Ishaka Municipality. She began her education at Bweranyange Junior Schools before joining Bweranyange Girls Secondary School for her all-level studies. She completed A-level at Trinity College in Abingo in 1973. She proceeded to Makerere University, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Literature in 1977. She later returned to the same institute and obtained a Master's of Arts in Literature in 1981, followed by a Diploma in Education in 1982. She served as a lecturer in the Department of Literature at Makerere University from 1981 to 1993, mentoring countless students during her academic.
To honor my brother, my son, and a colleague. Very, very briefly, I taught him at Makerere University in the class of mass communication, and he was one of the best students. Tall body, strong body, giant body, but also giant mind. It's not an exaggeration, it's the truth. So I followed him. The other day when I spoke in church, I told people, in Makerere, students would come. Then like in the second year, you look for them, you don't see them. Then sometimes they are in class with red eyes. You can't tell whether they have taken some strange weed, and then some of them would just disappear. Always had a mature attitude towards both his studies and life in general. And he had this sheer dedication to hard work. So it was coupled with natural ability. And I remember telling him, said, you will go far. And he used to respect him. He said, Toto, when you go to Teso, the young people will try to confuse you. If you ask them that, how do you breathe? They will say you kneel if it is your mother-in-law, and then they can tell you, you say Bangana Noi. I say, what? He said, but then your expression will tell whether you know what you are saying or not. He gave me a lot of advice. Then from there, the president made me his press secretary. So one day, after some years, I told him, I said, Papa, this place needs a deputy. The work, the stress was unimaginable. And I also proposed a few names. So one day he came and he said, Toto Maria, now I'm bringing one of your rumor mongers to act as your deputy. I said, Your Excellency, whom are you bringing? Oh, Unapite Ekomo something. I said, oh, Unapite Komoroi? I said, my God, my Redeemer liveth. He came. And I have already told you that those offices can be so stressful, the work. But when he came, he listened, my Lord. He would say, Toto, it is 3 a.m. He would say, Toto, you go back and look after Papa Good. I'll do the rest. In other words, he had a heart. He had a caring heart for other people. I never suffered again. And I stand here to tell you that his presence and his coming into State House rebranded the State House image up to now. And you people of the media, I told most of you, or your fathers or Robert, I want you to report so that the president reads it. That one of the testimonies is that Ona, who's lying here, changed the face of the press office of State House forever, positively. So when I left, he became full press secretary, and of course he did a fantastic job. He did. So as we mourn him family, eventually he became part of our family. I've come with my elder sister, Elizabeth. Can you stand up for recognition? He knew all my family members from Teso Kede, Ngena, Ocean. And I have my daughter Gloria Wood, Kate. That's Gloria Wood, Kate, that's my daughter. And she got married, Steve, Kate. Jimmy Dorado, I am saying all this because Ona knew all of us by name in the family. Just like he made us know his entire family, brothers, sisters, Igwe, Amcharat, Yaramanoi. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, sisters. Ona is gone, but his legacy lives forever. He was a good man, and the lesson we learned is that it pays to be good. He has left a fantastic testimony. He has gone where we are all going. There's nobody who's going to stay here forever, but how you go matters, and what name you leave behind matters. So now you have left a fantastic name. I am concluding. Just 1 minute. You know, he told me. My sister, the minister, talked about how liberal he was. You know how Uganda we can divide ourselves for nothing. UPC, my father was UPC. Papa Kut was UPC at one. So what is the problem? Lara, you one time told me that we need each other. That when you look at the organ, it has white keys, it has black keys. In order to get harmony, you have got to play both the white keys and the black keys. The black keys. Ona, you have gone well. May your soul rest in eternal peace.
Literature Review is rooted in the past, resounds in the present, and moves us into the future. The Journey on UBC Radio. From Julius Ochwinyo to Susan Chiguri to Jack Mapanje, join us on the journey as we take you into the lives of various writers in the world of literature. The Journey on UBC Radio.
She was married to the late Honorable Stanislas Okrut, a distinguished legislator from Ngora district who served as minister in various capacities across different governments. His contribution to the restoration of peace and stability in the Teso sub-region was both significant and enduring. Honorable Mary Okrut was also a devoted mother and grandmother who balanced her public service with deep commitment to her family and faith. Honorable Carol Okrut joined active politics in 1993 when she was appointed press secretary to the vice president. She later served as the commissioner at the Education Service Commission around 1986 to 2000, and from 2001 to 2004 she was appointed as private press secretary to His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni. In 2006, she resigned from public service to contest for Bushenyi District Woman Parliamentary seat, which she won. She served in that capacity until 2021. During her parliamentary tenure, she held multiple ministerial portfolios, including Minister of Information and National Guidance 2021, 2011 to 2012. Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development 2012 to 2015. Minister for Security 2015 to 2016. Minister for General Duties, Office of the Prime Minister, that is 2016-2021. In April 2020, His Excellency the President appointed her to lead Uganda's COVID National Task Force, playing a key role in the mobilization of resources and public sensitization efforts.
But when the President made the clarion call, the responses started pouring in. And, this reminded me what we call the spirit of Ubuntu. Ubuntu, I don't think it is even humaneness. It's more than that. And so, but first of all, I want to thank the President because the President, with his strategic leadership, first of all, the guidelines he put in place, then even the lockdown, world over, I saw a comment somewhere. And I think it was World Health Organization, and they were saying that Uganda is one of the countries which has managed this situation, and that is because of the strategic leadership, the guidelines, and so on. There are people who said, but why is the president in a hurry to put these measures in place, the lockdown, and so on? If he hadn't, we would be somewhere else. It was timely. Yes. And so when he made that appeal, that whatever they can bring, should bring it on board, the response has been immense. Cars, food, health equipment, it is immense. And every day it is increasing. I can assure you my phone is ringing off the hook, if that's the right word. Every day we get more and more donations. And we know that some of the health equipment and so on, masks, whatever, medical, some of it has been going to the Ministry of Health. And in fact, we are going to harmonize. By Tuesday, I'll give you a full list. How many cars we have bought so far, the foodstuffs and so on. But it's immense. It is, and it's not only the big, what I would call the big associations and people. There are people out there who are giving. There is a man who came the other day, Kimba or somebody, and he had 5,000 shillings. And we are getting calls. People are there out there saying, we want to give something, 20,000, 10,000, 1,000, 2,000. Yes, because it has got the multiplier effect. Thank everybody who is contributing. And as I am telling you, it is every day it's increasing by leaps and bounds. We thank Ugandans. Ministry of Health has been getting money. And then our office, where this organization is, the National Response, where we are, so far we have got like 2.1 billion, which has been banked. And, but like today, we received more checks, 100 million, 760 million. So we are going to put it together. And then we can give you the figure. Some of the amount is in dollars. So we have to translate all that. And also when people donate like foodstuffs and so on, even that, you have got to tabulate it into money. But we are going to give you the full picture. The president has actually appointed, that's another, a committee. And this committee is being inaugurated tomorrow by the Right Honorable Prime Minister, whom, as you know, he's the one who chairs the National Task Force. So when they come and they are being inaugurated tomorrow, we are going to sit. And then together, we are going to decide how this is going to be distributed. But obviously, like the food, the posho, and so on, we know that there are so many vulnerable groups, very many vulnerable people out there. That is where the food will be going. And as the president said, the vehicles, the ambulances, and so on will go to the health centers. Like I have said, there are systems in place which are going to be followed. There's this committee. So I want to assure everybody that every single cent is going to be accounted for. Every donation is going to be accounted for. And I'll be holding regular press briefings to read out names of who has contributed what, so that all the exercise is transparent. Do not worry. And the president has agreed that ever so often I'll give him the list of people who have contributed and he will be reading. So you, the media, and I want to thank the media. You are doing a fantastic job. Sunday for Christians, Sunday is Easter. Easter is about hope. Easter, when Mary went to the tomb of Jesus, she found the stone rolled away. The angel had rolled it away. So we are praying that God rolls away this heavy stone of COVID. In Uganda, we are doing well. So far, no deaths. We thank God, and we hope we will remain like that. But we pray for everybody in the world. Those who are sick, may they recover. Those who have lost loved ones, may God comfort them.
Literature Review is rooted in the past, resounds in the present, and moves us into the future. The Journey on UBC Radio. From Julius Ochwinyo to Susan Chiguri to Jack Mapanje, join us on the journey as we take you into the lives of various writers in the world of literature. The Journey on UBC Radio.
At the time of her demise, she had resignated as senior presidential advisor on public relations and had expressed interest in returning to elective politics as a representative of the elderly in Western Uganda under the National Resistance Movement. Honorable Carol, prolific writer and literary advocate, she authored several books, including The Invisible Weevil, published in 1998, The Official Wife, The Curse of the Sacred Cow, The Switch, The Man Who Ate His Eyes, The Adventurous Sisters, among others. She also served as the chairperson of FEMRIGHT, that is Uganda Women's Rights Association, which she co-founded, providing a platform for Ugandan writers, especially female writers, to share their stories. She edited A Woman's Voice, a notable anthology of short stories by Ugandan writers. A former columnist with The New Vision, and her last article appeared on the 22nd July 2025, where she commented on the NRM party primaries, a testament to her continued engagement with public discourse. Honorable Carol was deeply invested in community development. She was spearheading the establishment of a multi-billion shillings reusable sanitation pads factory in Bushenyi to promote women's health and economic empowerment. She also founded the Ntambiko Craft Center, an initiative aimed to promoting tourism and preserving culture heritage. She served as chairperson of the Bweranyange Girls Secondary School Old Girls Association, through which she inspired and supported education for girls in Uganda. Beyond politics, Honorable Carol Okrut was a devoted Christian and was honored with the title of Canon by the Church of Uganda for her steadfast faith and commitment to service. Her contributions to community development, education, and faith-based initiatives will be remembered with great admiration. The government of Uganda extends its heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family and community of women activists, the people of Angola sub-region, and all Ugandans upon the passing of an illustrious champion of the affirmative action and undistinguished public servant who held several high-ranking positions in government. Her legacy of service, advocacy, and leadership will be remembered with deep respect and admiration. Accordingly, His Excellency General Kaguta Museveni, in line with Article 99 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as amended, which vests executive authority of Uganda in the present, has therefore directed that the Honorable Canon Mary Businje Karolo Okrut be conducted an official burial.
But we want to thank you on behalf of government for giving us an opportunity to give a befitting send-off to a gallant daughter of the country who has served the country diligently. And this is a reminder I usually give people that His Excellency the President is extremely loyal. The moment you are loyal, he never forgets his people. And we've seen it through all this. So wish you all the best, condolences from government. And the rest we are discussing, so far so good. But if there are any challenges, we are ready to come in and ensure that indeed everything beyond what we have already committed, we'll see how best we bridge any gap that can come in. And we are going to ensure that we do that. I want to thank you.
An orphanage without registering with the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Because we have found out that several of these so-called orphanages are exploiting the children. The children are living in very, very unhygienic conditions. Some of them don't even have enough food. Some are being sexually abused.
Under the sun, her voice like a beacon, her legacy. Born in Bushani, under December skies, with dreams in her heart and a fire in her eyes. She walked the halls of where Anyangi's cry. Trinity's light, a career by her side. With a pen in her hand, she began to weave stories of women who dared to believe. From classrooms to chambers of power she came. Her voice like a beacon, her legacy the flame. Her voice still speaks in the wind and the rain, in the laughter of girls who dream without chains. Her footsteps echo on this Ugandan ground. A queen of the pain, her soul still resounds, though the curtain has fallen. Her Mary Karuro will speak your name from present. rooms of power to Parliament's call. She stood for the truth, she stood for us all, guiding the nation with wisdom and grace, fearless in spirit in every space. She planted the seeds of vibrant dream, lifting young voices like rivers and streams through invisible weather to a woman's voice. She gave us the courage, she gave us the choice. Her voice still speaks in the wind and the rain, in the laughter of girls who dream without chains. Her footsteps echo on this Ugandan ground. A queen of the pen, her soul still resounds, though the curtain has fallen. Her light will remain. Mary Karuro will speak your name. Margaret's tears on the day you flew carry the love that we all knew. From bush and East Hills to Kampala streets, your heart embraced the souls you meet. Her voice still speaks in the wind and the rain, in the laughter of girls who dream without chains. Her footsteps echo on this Ugandan ground. Queen of the pen, her soul still resounds, though the curtain has fallen. Her light will remain. Mary Karuro will speak your name. We'll speak your name forevermore.
Literature Review is rooted in the past, resounds in the present, and moves us into the future. The Journey on UBC Radio. From Julius Ochwinyo to Susan Chiguri to Jack Mapanje, join us on the journey as we take you into the lives of various writers in the world of literature. The Journey on UBC Radio.
At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate, and guide for national transformation.
Our own radio, UBC, should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza Muganda kiyitibwa kugumaza, to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babeereyo bagumaza, naye naffe they can advise, guide, and people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC Radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Are you a Ugandan earning below 1 million shillings per year? Government of Uganda is strategically putting PDM for you to get you out of poverty. PDM is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for better.
Get to know more about PDM in your parish by tuning in. We bring you experts to explain, clarify, educate, and interact with you on how to benefit from PDM.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life. UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda. UBC Radio brings to you the Timeline Radio Show, the space for civic and political rights for Ugandans. Tune in every Monday night at 10:15 p.m. to know your obligation in society as a citizen. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
The moment when I saw you, I knew that you'd be mine. Across all the universe, you got its best design. Kumuli oseka, eyongera muwa mukwano nawe. Gechinyonyi mupana, takubuka yuna jolly. Ugambe, no one ever made me feel the way you made me feel. Like I love you, like I'm soaring so high. And every day my life I'm gonna do my best, like you love for the rest of your life. Please be mine. Nobody else but you in my life. For the light that's shine in this life. There'll be nobody else but you. Yeah. Every moment when I breathe, you find me feel like this. My feelings and emotions are proud and diving deep. I hope you know what I mean when I can't find the words to speak. Your heart to love is what I seek. My past was not complete. No one ever made me feel the way you made me feel. Like I love you, like I'm soaring so high. And every day my life I'm gonna do my best. Like you love for the rest of your life. Please be mine. Nobody else but you in my life. Only bright lights shine in this life. There'll be nobody else but you. Yeah. Cause I will never hit that one. Baby, I still could be a thing like that. Cause every time when you laugh, you make me fall in love. Like it down flying high above. I'll spread my wings to you to tell you. No one ever made me feel the way you make me feel. I kind of feel like I'm soaring so high. And every day of my life, I'll try to do my best to make you feel love for the rest of your life. Please be mine. In my life. In this life, don't need nobody else but you. Yeah.
This is Independent Sound. GBC has 11 sister radio stations spread throughout the country to educate, inform, and entertain. Tune in to UBC Radio FM 98, your national radio station, Magic 100, where sports and music is our life. 87.5 Star FM in Uganda, 97.4 UBC West covering Western Uganda, 102 Mega FM in Gulu, 97 FM Butebo Radio in Eastern Uganda, 107.0 Buduri FM. 100.5 Ngea FM in Kasese, 98.0 West Nile FM in Arua, Total Ray Radio FM 90 in Karamoja, and 93.0 Voice of Butebo. Now you covered in your local language.
UBC Radios, inspiring Uganda.
Skinny on again.
This is UBC Radio.
At UBC Radio, we bring you Uganda's latest news and information.
Focus.
What do you need to do?
Politics.
The mission we have is socio-economic transformation.
Health, entertainment, updates, and education on the farm. Keep tuned into UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
The News Watch never stops.
All news now. Who knows what's next? But we'll be there. News on UBC Radio.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning into UBC Radio. My name is Fahim Mwingo, and first are the headlines. President Museveni backs public display of cattle compensation beneficiaries list in all the 11 districts in Teso sub-region. Hundreds eulogize the late Mary Kororo Okrut as a living library, whereas Alabitown closes schools early due to flash floods. And in foreign news, Trump and Putin holding Ukraine talks after warm greeting in Alaska. The news in detail. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and war cattle compensation claimants in Teso sub-region have agreed to a uniform compensation plan for all beneficiaries in that area. The resolution emanates from a meeting with Teso sub-region cattle claimants called by President Museveni at Soroti University to track the progress of the cattle compensation initiative. Government has so far paid 159 billion shillings to 28,000 claimants out of 52,790 since 2022. When the president commissioned the initiative. The president notes that the concept of compensation for cattle lost in war is improper because war is a disaster that knows no limits, but government agreed to it as part of the rehabilitation initiative to restore development. He has henceforth agreed that a flat payment is to be agreed upon for all households that were affected by cattle rustlers and was excluding those that have so far received payments under the current arrangement. Mr. Museveni tasked the Vice President Jessica Alupo to lead the discussion with the locals and their leaders in Teso region to generate genuine lists of the beneficiaries. The President has backed the idea of public display of cattle compensation beneficiaries lists in all the 11 districts in Teso sub-region because some claimants have been paid but dishonestly deny receipt of the funds. The idea was pitched by the Deputy Attorney General Jackson Kafuzi, who confirmed payment of thousands of cattle compensation claimants. Kafuzi highlights that Some beneficiaries intentionally filed double claims. Meanwhile, leaders from Teso sub-region have applauded President Museveni for the vivid development strides in their area and the successful socio-economic empowerment initiatives, including the Myoga and the Parish Development Model initiatives. Among them is the Vice President, Jessica Alupo, who highlighted the improved road network, free universal education, poverty eradication initiatives, health, peace, and security, among others. Now, the Minister of State for Teso Affairs in the Office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Kenneth Ongalo Obote, has notified the President of the increased production by Teso Food Factory and called for support to market the factory's products. Still in our news, Businge Mary Karoro Okrut, who died aged 70, has been honored for leaving behind literary works as part of Uganda's literature. She has been described as a great writer who inspired many female writers in Uganda. Mary Karoro Okrut founded Femrate, the non-government organization supporting women writers in Uganda, and wrote 7 books. These include The Invisible Weaver, Official Wife, The Curse of the Sacred Cow, Our Man's Voice, Child of a Delegate, The Switch, Milking a Lioness, and other stories. James Rehabura Tumsime, the founder and managing director, Fountain Publishers, who was speaking at a funeral service at All Saints Cathedral, expressed gratitude that the late left most of her thoughts in published form. Former Mitomauman MP Jova Kamateka remembers that Karoro was a great actor and debater who acted as a Lady Macbeth. Writing from exile, poetess and researcher Dr. Stella Nyansi testified that Karoro Okrut was her past lecturer of African poetry at Makerere University in 1993, whereas Dr. Simon Lizige, a physician at Nakasero Hospital, told mourners that Mary Karoro Okrut died of a lung-related complication, leading to multiple organ failure. He said, Karoro Okrut did not want her health conditions to be discussed. Karoro's elder sister, Elizabeth Sharura, revealed that she had lived with that condition for close to 15 years. She had received treatment from South Africa, Dubai, and most recently in Nairobi, where she died on Monday. Former Director General of Health Services, Dr. Francis Omaswa, said the disease is very rare but very difficult to manage. Mary Karoro Okrut coordinated and chaired the COVID-19 Task Force National Response. There from that, the Chief Executive Officer, National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, Rosemary Kisembo, has assured members of Parliament on the Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Territorial Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASI, that by the end of October this year, they will be through with registering all Ugandans in diaspora to get national identity cards. Kisembo revealed this after she was asked to say why they had taken long to register Ugandans in the diaspora for the national identity cards. MPs sitting on the COSAS committee, including Richard Gafopsa of Wamba County and Iki County Member of Parliament Robert Kasolo, while using the Otaginous report of the financial year 2023-2024, found out that despite the fact that NIRA was given money to register Ugandans in the diaspora, the speed at which they are doing their work is worrying. Kisembo also told the committee that as per now, they have registered over 2,000 Ugandans in Qatar and that they finished registering those in the East African countries. She further noted that Ugandans living in diaspora will register online for the new or renewal of the national identity cards. And from that, authorities in Alebtong district have instructed schools to close early as flash floods continue to ravage the district. The district has been receiving heavy rains which have resulted into flooding, especially in places near River Moroto and other seasonal swamps across the district. So far, Adul sub-county has been the most hit with the headquarters and health center already in water. The other affected sub-counties are Aloy and Omoro, where intermittent springs have emerged, causing water to ooze out on the ground, resulting in some infrastructures being destroyed, while in others there is looming threat of destruction. In a circular dated 11th August 2025, Franco Olaboro, the Alebtong Chief Administrative Officer, who also heads the District Disaster Preparedness Committee, argued that such occurrences poses a threat to the entire school community, thus the need to close the school. He also emphasized the need to guide learners to be very conscious while crossing flooded areas. According to him, the district is compiling data on the destruction for onward submission to the relevant authorities. The other schools affected by the floods include Ogong in Oloi sub-county. He is, however, worried that if the rains continue pouring, most schools will be affected and thus closed for a longer period of time. Let's cross over to foreign news, where at least 184 people have died in the last 24 hours in heavy monsoon floods and landslides in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Most of the deaths, 180, were recorded by the disaster authorities in the mountainous Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in northern Pakistan. At least 30 homes were destroyed and a rescue helicopter crashed during the operations, killing its 5 crew. 9 people were killed in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, while 5 died in the northern Gilgit-Baltistan region, it said. Government forecasters said heavy rainfall was expected until 21st August, and there is a heavy rain alert for the northwest of the country. Several regions have been declared disaster zones. Finally, in our news, US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have held talks on the Ukraine war in Alaska. The US and Russian presidents exchanged 2 handshakes as they met on the tarmac and had what appeared to be a friendly but animated conversation. The leaders, originally expected to meet one-on-one, were joined by senior US and Russian officials. Vladimir Zelensky, who is not invited to the summit, says Ukraine is counting on America and there's no indication Russia is preparing to end the war. Dear listeners, before ending our news, let's have a quick recap of our top stories. President Museveni backs public display of cattle compensation beneficiaries list in all the 11 districts in Teso sub-region. Hundreds eulogize the late Mary Okrut as a living library, whereas Aliptong district closes schools due to flash floods. And in foreign news, Trump and Putin hold Ukraine talks after warm greeting in Alaska. That's all I had for you in our news. Stay tuned in UBC Radio. My name is Fahim Muyingo. Good afternoon.
Every Saturday, UBC Radio broadcasts the Information Hub, your one-stop dial radio show. Join us to learn and information about innovations, research, and developments. The Information Hub, power on Empowering Uganda.
Welcome to Information Hub program this Saturday. I am Henry Baguma, together with Hilary Katurevi, Iga Masajege, Alin Musimita, and Herbert Chigondo. Together, we take you to the next level. Information Hub this time round, we are going to focus on road accidents, road safety, and traffic jam. Shortly after the break.
Are you a Ugandan of 18 years of age and above? The General Election 2025-26 is your opportunity to choose your local and national leaders and representatives. Be ready and equipped to effectively choose the leaders you want for a better future. If you don't vote, other people will choose for you the people to lead and represent you. UBC, Inspiring Uganda. Are you a Ugandan earning below 1 million shillings per year? Government of Uganda is strategically putting PDM for you to get you out of poverty. PDM is an initiative of the Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform the lives of all Ugandans for better.
Get to know more about PDM in your parish by tuning in. We bring you experts to explain, clarify, educate, and interact with you on how to benefit from PDM.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life. UBC Radios, Inspiring Uganda. PDM.
Welcome back from the break, and I am Henry Baguma, together with Hilary Katurevi and Herbert Chigondo, and now we are discussing road safety in the country in Information Hub this Saturday. And to avoid a mistake, let our guests introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Edmond Atwine from Uganda Road Accident Reduction Network Organization. I work as a logistics officer and also a research assistant.
Okay. I'm Tumini Fred Nkurho, the Executive Director of URENO, and I'm also the chair of RUSACO. RUSACO is the Road Safety Advocacy Coalition Uganda. Thank you.
Okay. Members, we are discussing road accidents and road safety, and so this is the information we are seeking from you. And as we proceed with the discussion, and maybe I'll start with him as we get others to join us. This is information program where we want to understand road safety. Do people understand road safety, you inclusive?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I think people understand road safety, but to what extent is the question? Because, for example, there are very many crashes that happen. For example, the previous report of Uganda Police, it shows that the accidents keep on increasing, which shows there's no, people are aware, but there's no solutions that are being done. So I feel there's need for more sensitization, first of all. Then there's also need for strict enforcement. You saw the issue of the EMS that was cancelled a while back. It was in regards to help cut down some of these road crashes and overspeeding. Overspeeding is one of the highest risk causes of crashes in Uganda. So we believe if there's more intervention from government, there's more collaboration from partners and strict enforcement, all that can help cut down these crashes.
Okay. Yes, sir. Are people aware about these road accidents in the country? Because I'm seeking information from experts and you're one of them. Yeah, it is true. People are aware, but the number is not convincing enough. First of all, we as coalition members, we put emphasis on advocacy, and we are a big number. We are a big number in the sense that people have picked interest in sensitizing, advocating, and educating people about road crashes. For example, the problem of road crashes is attributed to one, the enforcement must be effective. Then improvement of the infrastructure. The roads must be well designed and safe. And also people must be aware. Education is very, very important in curbing out road crashes. So it is a combination of those, and the moment people are aware, then the trend can go down. Thank you. Okay. Yes, your name and what are people aware? Do you think there is enough information to the population regarding road safety? Is that your name?
My name is Henry. My name is Henry Mgisa. I work with URENO as a project manager, but currently also team leader in developing standards, seatbelt and child restraint standards, working with the UNBS. Whether people know or aware of road safety, to a very small extent, some people know, because unfortunately road safety is not taught in school, like how you see other aspects of health management, health science, for example, that has HIV, AIDS, environment, etc. So it's a big challenge, really. That is why, for example, Kampala Capital City Authority has upgraded so many intersections. But the other day we did a field inspection. People don't know when to cross or when not to cross. The light is red. There are machines for them to press a button and then to show you, please cross. But they still cross when they are not supposed to cross. So the mix of vehicular traffic and pedestrians we mix up, which is exposing the most vulnerable people, who are the pedestrians. But more so, back to standards, we've been working with UNBS for a couple of years since last year, and now the standards are in the final round of approval, awaiting UNBS to approve. But why standards? Seat belts and child restraint standards. Number one, in road safety management, we have what we call pillars. And one of the pillars is safe vehicles. So every vehicle that comes onto the road is supposed to be in a good mechanical condition. That means the engine is functioning well, it has tires, the lights are okay. But now specifically, the seat belts. Why do we need seat belts in car? Because they help in case of an event of an accident, or what usually now we have transitioned to calling a crash. The seat belt holds the passenger in the vehicle in one position. So why do we need them? There is safety feature that makes a vehicle safe. And when you go to the roads on Kampala, unfortunately, according to a research done by one of the students from Makerere, says 86% of the vehicles have seat belts. But unfortunately, only 21% are using them. Why? Lack of awareness of the importance of the seat belts. But also, there's also an issue of weak enforcement. Traffic police, I don't know what is it. They're overwhelmed, of course, because of the numbers, but even the ones on the road, they're letting some of the things go away. And fortunately for us, the Ministry of Works last month started the routine inspection of vehicles. All vehicles on the road, and we are starting with government vehicles. And we pray and believe that this inspection will also go to the PSV, the passenger service vehicles, especially our matatus or taxis, so that we have good vehicles on the road that are in good condition.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, madam, your name, and you've had your colleagues produce information. This is information program where we are seeking information. Do people know the road accidents? Are they aware? Are there remedies at all from your own understanding?
Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be here once again. My name is Masika Tsime, the Communications Officer at URENO, Uganda Reduction Network Organization. Well, for the matter of road accidents or crashes, I believe for individuals to be aware of what is happening in their surrounding is probably when an event or they happen to be involved in a crash. I think that is when people get the understanding of the intensity of what is happening on the road. As far as it is concerned with creating awareness, we have done what we can as civil society organizations, mostly those in road safety. But I can say just yesterday, KCCA released their annual road safety report. Much as they have reports on the reduction on fatalities or deaths from 411 to 402, that's quite a good number actually, 2% of deaths reduction. And looking at the vulnerability of road users between the age of 20 to 29. Those are the youth particularly. The youth who work every day, some are pedestrians, some use cars, and it's quite alarming because we populate the country at a higher percentage. So that means we're losing out on youth almost on a daily. So there is something to be cautious about, and looking at also the rate at which motorcycle riders are getting involved in crashes is alarming, because they account for 81%. They account for almost half of the crashes that happen in Kampala, 49%, which leaves the 44% to the pedestrians, the everyday people that walk on the road, that use the cyclists as well. So there is something that we have to investigate on motorcycle riders, the borders that we hop on a daily. They're the ones that are causing crashes on the road. So we have to put much emphasis on restrictions, enforcement, to make sure that at least by the end of this year, at least from the 49% that was reported last year, at least there should be a reduction on the damage that motorcyclists are causing on the road.
Okay. Yes, sir. This is information radio program, and we are seeking information from experts. I come back to you as experts. What sort of experience can you share with us regarding road accidents?
Yes, the experience I can share with you is that, first of all, like I mentioned before, the road crashes are increasing. So that shows that we need to put in more effort. and this is attributed mainly to speed, overspeeding. The enforcement, like I said, needs to be increased. Yes, we have traffic lights, we have the policemen that come in and help with the enforcement, but also we as the users, the road users, it should also be upon us. For example, we should teach ourselves, we should know, if you went through driving school, you know the road signs, the different road signs, the markings and so on. So if you see a 30, if you see a 50-kilometer sign, you should know that this area is a low speed area. So it should also come back to us, we as the users, as the road users, to also be able to put this into practice. Then on the issue of, I would say, border borders, like my colleague has mentioned, border borders are one of the most growing transport sector, for example, because in Kampala we have quite a number of border riders and they keep on increasing. Most of these riders don't have driving permits. Some of them also don't have the helmets, and they lack the basic knowledge on the road. So they end up not putting that knowledge that they would have gotten from the driving school on the road, and they end up causing all these crashes. So I feel the government, in partnership with us, the CSOs, should come all together and help educate everyone, as this will cut down these crashes.
Okay. Yes, sir. What is your experience regarding road crashes and road accidents?
So I would say it is all about discipline on the road, but also an issue of infrastructure. For example, in Uganda, we are entirely relying on road transport. How I wish the government would diversify to have multimodal forms of transport. For example, why would someone coming from Jinja have to drive if there was a train service? Why would someone going to Kabale have to drive when there's an airport or another means of transport? When we were growing up, our parents would tell us how the railway line to Kasese was one of the best means of transports. That when you do that, you're easing pressure off the road, thereby reducing the number of crashes. But also, road safety, it's a shared responsibility. Each one of us has a role to play. We might blame government, but you as an individual, when you get on the road and you're driving, how disciplined are you? Then also enforcement. Really, traffic police needs to be supported, but also we need to adopt technology in road safety management. Of course, they were piloting the ITMS and it caused problems, but there are lessons to learn going forward, and we still need it. If all those things can work in other countries, especially East African countries like Rwanda, that means even here in Uganda, it's very possible. So enforcement. Then also, I think there is lack of political will, because the number of borders alone, I think, has become more or less like an electoral college. So some politicians are looking at votes instead of the risks that the borders bring on the road. Because, to be honest, apart from the ones who work for companies like Safe Borders, Faras, Uber, etc., there's some great deal of discipline with them. But these other ones not attached to any of those companies, they're very, very reckless. So we need to find a practical solution, because they are a necessary evil for all of us. You can't do away with them. But how do we regulate so that we reduce crashes on the road?
Yes, I'm still want to understand your personal experience, general knowledge about road crashes and road accidents.
Well, like I said earlier on, road safety is everyone's responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility. As long as you use the road, you must know what you should do on the road. If you're a pedestrian, which part of the road are you supposed to cross from? If you own a vehicle, if you're driving, if there is a road sign, do you know what it means? If it's 30 kilometers, why are you speeding at 50 kilometers per hour? If you are a motorcycle or border rider, you should have protective gear, you should have a permit. These are basic things that everyone that uses the road should know. But we have deliberately refused. There are regulations. The regulations are being put in place as everyone knows their role, but we deliberately refuse to abide by them. So it all goes back to us as individuals. Play your part, know your responsibility. Another thing, it is imperative or it is our responsibility as civil society organizations and maybe the government as well to go and make the public aware of the new infrastructure developments that are being put in place. Now that there are traffic lights, now that there are new technologies of pedestrian crossings. As a pedestrian, do you know when it lights green, that's when you're supposed to cross. If it lights red, you're not supposed to cross. So it is everyone has to play a part. The government, the civil society organizations, police, enforcement has to. We have to work together to make this crisis. It's a crisis actually. Looking at the global goal of reducing to 50%, instead of reducing for us, we are increasing. So it is a worry for Uganda as a whole.
Okay. Yeah. Now, another issue about roads now, which is emerging, is the traffic jams. Looks like a serious matter. I also want to hear more about that subject, traffic jams. What is your experience? What is your view? And what is the way forward? They start with you, sir.
Yes, my view on traffic jams is that, first of all, we spend quite a while in traffic jam. Actually, there's a statistic that mentioned that we spend an average of 2 hours in Kampala traffic jam in a day. That's a person who's driving. So there's an issue of, first of all, narrow roads. If the roads are narrow, there's a lot of congestion. So this affects the road movement. There's an issue of infrastructure that also goes back to the signages and all that. Because if someone sees, if there's no overtaking, then a person overtakes. This obviously means he or she can cause traffic jam at the end where it's overtaking. So infrastructure plays a role. Enforcement in a way that some of these traffic officers are lenient to these offenders. The birds and all that, if they are caught, they sideline maybe a police officer and they end up sweet talking him or her. So we feel if there's strict enforcement, all this can be calmed down. Also, the traffic lights, I appreciate or I congratulate the government for installing different traffic signs and lights in the different intersections around Kampala. So these alone have also, it's evident they have reduced the traffic jam rates within Kampala. So more of this, the advancement of technology and so on will help reduce traffic jam. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Madam, what is your experience about traffic jam? Have you ever had the issues? Have you ever been held up? Have you ever arrived late or leave early? I don't know. Give us a personal experience about traffic jam and what do you think about this?
Well, traffic jam, I should say, is like a disease. I should say, okay, what I've really observed is the problem with big trucks. Sometimes there's an issue with big trucks. A truck maybe is stuck somewhere on the road, breaks down on the road. And that causes havoc. For a person who is supposed to arrive at work at 8 is arriving at probably at 9 because a truck was stuck on the road. That goes back to maintenance. Me focusing on the trucks, maintenance as a truck driver. How have you checked your vehicle before? I understand some long distance vehicles, they have traveled maybe from longer distances and breaks down. So those issues usually cause traffic on the road, and that is why we are seeing delays. And of course, there is a lot of commotion actually when you see a traffic officer trying to make sure. I've seen it here on the flyover here recently. People do not, even if there is a traffic officer, people do not, most especially border riders, they do not obey the traffic police person available. So it's an issue. So I don't know what we are going to do as a country to make sure that if it is a stop on your end, it is a stop. You're not supposed to be crossing to the other side. Most people get away with it because we have a small car or probably you're a motorcycle rider and you're rushing, but it is a huge problem for traffic.
Okay. Yes, sir. you've had, I'm trying to get information now about traffic jams, which are also becoming a very big challenge in the country. Not only Kampala, but almost all cities around the country. What's your experience and what's your view and way forward?
Yes, we lose so much time in traffic jam. We lose so much time in traffic jam, but I think Uganda needs to adopt the multimodal transport system whereby we have diverse options for the travelers, the travelers. For example, I'll give you a very basic example. There is a home, a family, each one has a car, and they're all going to town. They all work in the central business district. Why would each one of them drive and yet they can move in one car? So we need to pool resources, organize ourselves in a way that, for example, in the suburbs, people move as a group. For example, we need to revive, I don't know what happened to Pioneer Bus Services, Tondeka, I don't know what really happened, because the more, the bigger the transport vehicle, the lesser the vehicles on the road. But also, I wouldn't say that widening roads would solve the problem. Widening the roads wouldn't solve the problem.
Have you ever held up by traffic jam yourself?
Oh, yes.
I want to hear your experience.
Traffic jam. For example, if you're in Mukono heading to Kampala, especially like right now when the children are getting their holidays, it is very terrible. You can spend over 4 hours just from Mukono, distance of 18 kilometers from the city. Why? Because all the transport is concentrated on the road. There are no options. If we had the train, people would opt for the trains, etc. So this is an opportunity, especially for the upcoming cities, Fort Portal, Mbale, Jinja, Arua, to plan better for the future, because very soon the population is increasing, and as the population increases, and people, the cost of living is increasing, but also the people are earning some more money. That means they'll be able to afford some of these things. So the government, the city authorities need to plan for those numbers that are coming, so that, because the Kampala disease of traffic jam and confusion will spread across Uganda if no urgent interventions are put in place.
Okay. Yes, sir. Have you ever been held in a traffic jam? What sort of experience can you share with us, and how did you feel, or how did you overcome that?
Yes, I've ever been held in traffic jam. Actually, a live example is usually when I'm going back home. I use the Gaba Road. I think one of the causes is the intersection, the Kabalagala one that connects Kabalagala and the Muyenga, and then also Gaba. I think if they install traffic lights, that can calm down the issue of traffic jam. So yeah, it's a really big issue that needs to be worked upon with police and government. Thank you. Yeah.
My fear is the vehicles are on the increase on the roads, and roads are not expanding.
Yes, that's one of the main issues we usually discuss when we are with the government and different stakeholders. Then the vehicles on the road keep on increasing, but the roads are not being developed. The roads are narrow. So this is something that we have been fighting, or we have been talking with government, that at least at least if the roads are not there, at least widen them so that they can cater for different road users, the borders. You see a vehicle is struggling or is fighting with a border on the same road. So this is one of the issues that we need to work with government, so that at least these roads are worked upon.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's get to the second part of this discussion, and these are now rules, regulations governing roads, and this is the issue of national laws, and this is what I want in the second and final part of our discussion. I will start with him, sir. Talk to us about the traffic laws in Uganda and its implementation. Do you see a missing gap? Are they being implemented? I don't know. Yeah, before that, I want to talk shortly about the traffic jam. averagely, Uganda doesn't have a big number of vehicles which can cause traffic jam. It is only our behavior, especially drivers and riders. For example, you need to plan your journey. Don't come in and cause obstructions and the rest of it. Secondly, for example, if I can give example of Nambole, there are many people who go to watch football. They use the train. As my colleague have said, if we had other means of transport, like a train, then we wouldn't have this traffic jam. Plus also flyovers. The government, we are happy with the government to have started building flyovers. All those will help the traffic jam. I can comfortably say Uganda doesn't have so many vehicles to cause traffic jam. The way we see it, it is because of our driving behaviors, and also inconsiderate of using the road, plus also lack of courtesy. Drivers don't have the courtesy to use, on the road. So back to the traffic laws. Uganda has made a number of traffic laws and regulations. We appreciate. For example, recently we finished around 20 traffic laws, traffic regulations, but it is one way to have traffic regulations and laws, and another one to implement them. We have done it. For example, civil society organizations like Rusako supported the government, Ministry of Works, to have the regulation of helmet use, back limit, and others. So the most important thing is that implementation of these laws. As my colleagues have said, regulations and laws need to be enforced. We have done some good work, we as civil society organization, in educating the masses, but people need to be punished when they misbehave. So enforcement is very, very important in this sector, and a combination of education, then improvement of the infrastructure and enforcement will improve the situation. What are some of the standard laws regarding traffic? Maybe, I don't know, you don't have a reference to me here now, but what are some of the standard laws? Because when we talk about laws, people speak of speed limit and almost that's all. Let me start with you, sir.
Yes, first of all, these laws are derived from the Traffic and Road Safety Act of 1998. So one of the current laws is the speed limit that you mentioned, which is, at first it was 50, but after different engagements with stakeholders, they reduced it to 30 kilometers. So initially, you're not supposed to drive beyond 30 in a school area, in a built-up area, and so on. There's the helmet law. There's the drink and driving. There's the insurance and so on. So all these laws, they are brought in from the Traffic and Road Safety Act, like I mentioned, but they also try to mitigate the issues of the different causes of road crashes, the overspeeding, drink driving, distracted driving, and so on. So these laws help to keep us safe on the road.
Okay. Yes, supplement, we are discussing the laws, which are some of the basic laws right now in the country, and also I want to hear from you this information program. So I want to know, how are they implemented? Do people know? Do drivers know? Do passengers know these laws? I don't know. Let me get from you as experts.
Yes, for the laws, we have so many laws. Like they say, Uganda is very good at making laws, but what they call paper tigers, they are on the shelves, are not being implemented. For example, the speed regulation. I believe if the road users, the public, the general public, was sensitized before implementation, it would have been well received. But however, that wasn't the case, because now people don't know what the law says, what the regulation says. For example, the 30 kilometers per hour, people misunderstood it as that is the still the people don't even know these signs why they are there. For example, 30 kilometers before a school zone, 30 kilometers before a market or a highly urbanized center. So people need to be sensitized so that they know what these things mean. Because putting 30 kilometers does not make sense if someone doesn't know what it really means. So we are appealing to the government and other road safety stakeholders. Let us come together and work on it so that we say the laws are there. But also there's also an issue of enforcement. The enforcement is very, very weak. Every day you see people breaking the law on the road. And I must say, maybe because the police is overwhelmed by the numbers, they're spread thin, but still, we can do better. When someone breaks the law, book them immediately so that we know they learn the lesson that if I do this, then there's also an issue of, I don't know, according to the law, they say there are very few people who have the right of the way in Uganda. That is the president, the Speaker of Parliament, and ambulances. But now it has become a norm whereby politicians or high-profile people in Uganda, even using the wrong lanes on the road. So I believe if the director of traffic police, if he's listening in, I found that we are appealing, please rain on these people because they're becoming a nuisance. They are knocking people down. It's bad. So in short, we need to enforce the laws because a law that is not enforcement is equally useless.
Okay, a law is useless. Now let's also look at, because I talk about people being informed. One group that's not really informed at all are children. Let's also have a brief discussion about the safety of Ugandan children, because reports indicate that the children are among the biggest losers in road accidents and road crashes, school children and others. Let's also have a discussion about safety of Ugandan children, even those at school.
Yes, now,
when I've seen some small kids crossing roads.
Yes, now, that is a very delicate part of, because now children in school, every day for at least for 3 months they go to school. And I'm very sure some parents are not sure their children are going to come because, number one, they are very highly vulnerable because road users, especially motorists, do not respect the safety features that are put near the schools, for example, the zebra crossings, etc. Now, on the side of children, how do we make them safe? Unfortunately, currently we have a road safety curriculum that is from P1 to P4, that is lower primary. Children are taught about road safety. Beyond P1 up to P4, there is nothing. Upper primary, tertiary, secondary, and tertiary institution. My appeal is to the Ministry of Education and other learning institutions to incorporate road safety in the learning. Yes, like they have done climate change, HIV, stroke, AIDS, etc. Then number two, schools have crossing guides. But most of these crossing guides, as you know, we have been engaging them, training them about road safety, how safety tips for the children crossing, etc. But unfortunately, these people work as security guards. They are not under the government payrolls, the staffing structure, whereby each school, like I say, has a head teacher, has a teacher, but it also needs people crossing guides to help the children cross roads, especially on very busy roads. Then the other thing is there's this very bad habit that parents are using. You find a border man has over like 6 children on them, one motorcycle. And for a parent, for you are confident at home that your child has gone to school, they are on a motorcycle. Some of them are sitting on a fuel tank, which is a very, very dangerous thing. It can explode. Who would you blame, really? Then if your child is sitting on a motorcycle, make sure they have a helmet. We have small helmets designed for those small heads, because children are very, very highly vulnerable because of their young age. Their skulls are still very soft and they are still developing. Any crash and it results to a very, very bad head injury, which may be very expensive too. to treat. So my appeal is parents, school authorities, make sure. Then there's also another issue of school vans being in very poor conditions. You find a van bundling children. They are like merchandise going to a market. So the school administration, I believe you can sit with parents and agree the best way your child can move from home and back to and from school safely, because these are the future of this nation. And if we don't inculcate the good road safety behavior at that age, we might have a lost generation.
Yes, we are discussing children's safety.
Yes. To top on what my colleague has said, children's safety is crucial because this is the young generation. So if we don't groom them, they'll grow up to be responsible. So it all starts with the guardians, with the parents and the elders. One issue I can say is that some of these children, they are not accompanied to school. They walk alone, for example, from home to school. And they end up, some of them end up playing on the road, crossing in undesignated areas. So they become prone to some of these road crashes. But I also want to appreciate government for the construction of the NMT facilities. These NMT facilities, the non-motorized transport facilities, these, for example, the walkways, the cycling lanes, and so on. At least there's an improvement in number of these facilities. So we believe that if these NMT facilities are constructed, most of these learners that, for example, walk to school, at least they are separated from the vehicular traffic, that is the borders and the cars. So it helps them to keep safe on the road. They can walk, they can probably just play, but in a designated area. So the NMT facilities will help reduce some of these facilities. So I encourage, or I